There was this Hispanic lady. She didn't know any English. She was an older lady going through chemo, and her hair was falling out, and she was crying. And I remember they had a bunch of wigs that they were like getting out and like gonna give her one, and she was just having a hard time, you know. And the lady was walking by, and I snagged one of the wigs, and she put it on, and she was crying, and I put on a wig with her, and she just started laughing, and like you know, I couldn't talk to her because I didn't know Spanish, and I was able to bring a smile to her face and like give her some relief, like it was gonna be okay.
We used to chat. She sent me pics. Nothing good, but you know.
How old were you?
I don't know, 13, 14, maybe 12.
Damn.
I think you were getting
Oh, I was 13 or 14 because I had a cell phone.
I think you were getting catfished.
Bro, yeah.
You're getting catfished.
Maybe.
How to Catch a Predator.
She sent me a dick once, but she said it wasn't hers. She's all, my bad, wrong. That was my brother's. We use the same phone.
That was Phil.
We use the same phone.
I follow these guys on TikTok. It's like 303 Predators or whatever.
What?
Dude, child predators. So like this guy in Colorado, he baits like
predators,
online predators in
he
Colorado.
Beats the fuck out of them.
And then like, what he does is he calls or he tells him like, if you run away, I'm gonna call the cops right away. You know.
Yeah.
But if you stay here, I'll talk to you. And they sit there, and he makes them like call their wives and shit.
Oh my god!
Tells them, puts them on fucking blast.
That's wild.
And then half the time the cops show up too, so it's crazy. Like, dude, this guy's fucking them hard. He's like, you trying to sleep with like this 12-year-old girl? It's like, what? And one of the places I noticed was the McDonald's off of 119 and 925. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, it's fucking close.
That's scary, dude. People
Goes to Denver.
People are horrible.
People are.
Yo, Alan Fisher sent me something on TikTok.
AF? Did he really?
Yeah, he waved at us. Thanks. Thanks, Big Al.
My dad's a TikToker now, dude. He's a pro.
Ooh, man. I sent some wild shit sometimes. Let's see where we start.
Should we do it first?
Hold on, let's watch this first. Ooh, that one must have been high when I saw this.
Oh, that's fucking...
Damn, that's deep.
You don't.
That's deep.
When you suddenly realize you've never seen your phone in your dreams. I'll try to throw a little TikTok right here. I'll see if I can.
Yeah, you never look down.
Never,
for real,
yeah,
I've never called anybody on my dreams. Nothing.
Not that I can recollect.
I always know where I'm going. I don't even need Google Maps. Google Maps doesn't exist in the dream world.
You ever get those dreams where like you can't talk?
Ooh, I used to get those bad.
Like paralysis, or like you can't talk in
like
your dream.
in your
like
dream,
in your
or
dream, like you're dreaming, something's going on, and you can't talk. Like you're mute, and you can think it in your mind.
Yeah.
But like you can't say it. Or I've had like a dream where I'm in a dream and I thought of something and then it happens.
That's called deja vu.
No, but like in the dream.
Like you control
so like,
it.
yeah, it's weird. Cool.
I always
weird.
try that, but then I wake up. Like as soon as I realize I wake up.
You're halfway cut off.
Back.
That'd have been good audio, but
My bad. That would've been good audio. No, I used to get really bad sleep paralysis. Did I tell you guys?
Yeah, you've told me a little bit.
And I used to get really bad sleep paralysis, and like I would wake up, and like I could see the whole room, but I couldn't talk. Like I'd be like, and it'd feel like there was like something, like a shadowy figure. Like I had it like multiple times, and the shadowy figure slowly kept getting closer. Like once it was like in the hallway, and like I felt in my dream I was like walking by the hallway, and then I was like stuck in my room, and then slowly it was like next time it was like by my door, and then it was like slowly getting by me, and then I woke up one morning, my ass was just completely fucking sore. Like, I don't know what that fucking demon did to me. No, I'm just kidding. But they say it's like a demon, and her name's like Edith, and like she like fucks people who are like in like sleep paralysis and shit like that.
Who's they?
who's
People
they?
of the believers. The believers of Edith.
Fair.
I've heard like people, I've told the story and like people have told me like, oh, I had like this experience, and like they tell me about it and shit, and like sometimes it's a lot deeper. Like I was like, man, I didn't get boned or anything. I changed my life before she could get to me. I think it was like a warning. Like that's when I was deep in my shit. You know what I mean? So I think it was a way of that demon was like, hey,
You better straighten up, boy.
Yeah.
Or else I'm gonna put you in the double hooks.
Or I'll straighten you up for you. I'll straighten you up.
straighten you out.
Yeah.
Not up.
I'll get you real straight.
She's gonna be up. You're gonna be out.
Dude, I looked up like sleep paralysis. What it is? They say that what your body is not letting you do something because you could hurt yourself. So your body knows that you're dreaming still. So your body is not letting you move because it's protecting itself. It's
So
like a defense
you blow
mechanism.
your shoulder out or something.
Yeah, it's like you're like
right?
trying not to or something like that. You know what I mean?
You're like fighting somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it says. Like your body's trying to protect yourself.
I think that I've heard it's something like that, your body's caught between.
Sleep and
Yeah, it's like caught between the two. Like you
REM
said, like you're trying.
sleep
It's like trying to hold you back from moving, but you're awake.
yeah.
Like it's caught between two different cycles.
Now I've heard like people dreaming if they eat like something and have an upset stomach or something like that affects you too. I don't know if that's true. I never had that, but I've had those dreams where you're laying there and you're sleeping and you fall off of something in your dream and you wake up and your heart is like out of your chest.
What do you fall off of?
I fell off a cliff before. Honestly,
cliff diving.
I've had a dream where I thought I was awake, but I was in a dream.
Yeah.
In my bed, and I fell off my bed in my dream and woke
shit.
up, freaked out.
Woke up on the floor or no?
No, like I woke up in my bed, but in the dream I fell off my bed.
Okay.
It was like Inception, a dream within a dream.
Those are the ones that fuck me up the most. That's how my sleep paralysis is. It's like a dream within a dream. Like I'm awake, but I'm dreaming. Like my eyes are closed, but I can see everything.
I've had that.
It's my third eye's open. You know what I mean? The ones that mess me up are on my bike, and I start falling or whatever. But I've had one where I'm like hiking, and I like step on the edge, and I just like like it's not like far. Like I can see like the brush, but I'm like just going off the edge. Like I can see it break and like I fall over. When I was a kid, I used to have a really bad one that in Dallas they have like a really like where all the fucking highways connect. Basically, it just goes up super high. And I remember when I was a kid, I just remember being so fucking high. And I used to always have a dream that we were going around and around, like just up and up and up, and the car just loses control. It'd be like my brother driving or something. He's like 7. And I'm like, why the fuck's Darian driving? And he just goes off the edge.
Oh my god.
And then I always wake up before we hit the ground. But
gosh, that's always scary. Like you can see it, like you're like, wow, and then you wake up.
Imagine that being real. Like that's how Kobe died. You know what I mean? Like I know, but like it went down. You know what I mean?
Not off a fucking freeway.
Well, I think they ran right into the mountain. Huh? It wasn't on the way down.
Did you guys see that shit? Like all that shit got leaked. The pictures got leaked and everything else, and now his wife's suing.
The cop got into deep shit because they were sharing them.
Yeah, at the bar afterwards.
Yeah, they're like, it's not a big deal. We do this all the time.
Oh my god.
I don't know, man. You gotta have a certain mindset to be a first responder too.
Oh yeah,
As
different
much things as you see, you have to deal with it. I think different than like your average person. You know what I mean? Like
you think of death differently than
Imagine like how one thing happens to somebody sees something totally gruesome or crazy once in their life and how it affects them their whole life.
Yeah.
Let alone for that to be your job and you probably see something like that every week.
And imagine like to them that's just like
Every
another
day.
thing. You know what I mean? Like it's just another person. Even though it's Kobe, it's just another person, and you're like showing. Even if, I mean, I'm sure it makes it a bigger deal. Like look how Kobe fucking.
Or like a crime scene fucking guy that shows up and just like
a coroner.
Oh, did you guys hear about that shooting that happened right there off of I-25 and 72nd? Like some kids, 2 died and 1 got fucking
Really?
at Halloween, the night before Halloween.
Yeah, they're high school kids, right?
Yeah.
Dang, that sucks.
The cops were there because they're right by my work. The cops were there for like a week and a half. And the whole house was shut down, and I saw like the forensics.
Was it like gang related or something?
I have no idea.
Did you guys hear about the 2 fucking high school kids in Iowa that killed their Spanish teacher because they got bad grades?
I just saw
What?
that on the internet today.
Because they got bad grades, so they killed their Spanish teacher. Wild fucking shit. All right, let's pick another TikTok here.
Yeah, this is going dark.
Are we intro it or just roll
You want me
it?
to intro it now?
I don't know if you can cut that and throw it into this because we had some pretty good.
Oh, I do a lot of cuts. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I can do whatever.
Yeah.
I can do whatever.
Episode 29.
What's up, everybody? Episode 29. We're introing this a little late, but who knows when this will start. We're here with Big Daddy Fresh.
Yeah.
Because we've heard he gets the views, is what the comments have said.
His 3rd time on.
Yeah, Doug's already.
He's a 3-timer.
3-peat
Doug has the most
exposure.
No. We'll see how the podcast goes.
You know what I'm saying?
But Doug has the most podcast appearances.
Yeah, podcast appearances. He's a podcast vet.
Yeah, he is. He's a vet in the game now. I think right now we're just doing some reaction videos. We'll talk about some crazy stuff. Like,
Maybe some conspiracies.
Doug's also into BDSM, so...
It's gonna be 50.
Shout out to Ray last week. 50 Shades of Ray is what we should have...
Well, we should have.
that should have been the title.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can outdo that one, guys, but
It was fun. We had a good time.
make
Yeah,
these
it was
cheeks-
good.
That was one of the more fun ones, huh?
Yeah, it was just eye-opening. I think it was.
She's just very open.
That was kind of nice too, because like she wasn't like closed at all, like at all about anything. She was like, yeah, this is how
She's
it
like that
works.
in real life. She went to my Halloween party, and she's exactly the same.
Well, that's cool.
Calvin. We should do a podcast Halloween party. Is everyone that was on the
God.
podcast?
You show up in your Halloween costumes? That'd be fun.
That was like the draft.
We should do one like Joe Rogan and what's the other guy's name? Duncan?
That they dress
Duncan
up.
Trussell, and they dress up like weird.
Rogan was like astronaut.
Yeah, they dressed up like 1700s with like the wigs and stuff.
Yeah.
This book I'm reading, it's like talking about like it's like the early 1700s and shit, and it says how like that generation, like in the like 1600s, like 1650, like as they were growing up, that they became like the generations before them were much more like the sexes were like becoming much more like the same type of roles, and then they were much more like separatists, and part of that was like women starting to wear like the
Corset.
corsets and men
yeah.
men wearing the wigs.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
said
yeah.
the men wearing the wigs was like a sign of masculinity, and that's why the men started doing that to kind of separate themselves from how the women look.
But I thought that the wig thing came from same kind of era, George Washington.
Yeah.
Where he had I think it was syphilis or something on his head, and
Syphilis.
they'd powder their heads with like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was talcum powder or what.
Yeah.
And then they'd wear the wigs, and then like obviously he's
Yeah.
the higher up, and it would show authority and like kind of
Yeah.
what you're saying, masculinity,
Yeah,
wealth, and that's why everybody did that as well as like
Look
the
up how
teeth.
much a powdered wig was back then.
That makes sense.
How much do you think one of those bad boys cost? What are they made out of? First off,
Now we got mullets, you know.
That's
that's the ultimate sign. That's the ultimate sign of masculinity. You know what I mean?
Handlebar mustaches and mullets. I got a question. Who do you think would win in a fist fight, like Joe Biden or George Washington?
Ooh, Biden.
What year was? How old was George Washington? First off, foremost.
Jamie, hurry up.
He's got to look up the first one.
An everyday wig costs 25 shillings a week worth of wages for a common Londoner. I don't give a fuck about Londoners. The fuck? We're fucking Americans.
Say a powdered wig in the U.S.
In the motherfucking USA.
USD. How much? How much USD? I don't care about the shillings. A
USA.
week? You have to pay a week?
Was it like a horsehair, or what did they make it out of?
It was horse pubes.
It's the longest time.
Horse don't have pubes though. That's weird. Are we the only animals that have
That's
pubes?
this is where the term bigwig comes from.
Oh no shit, huh?
The term bigwig stems from this era when British nobility would spend upwards of 800 shillings on a wig.
Damn, boy.
How much? What? I do 25 shillings in USD? They still have to ship it if they're. I don't know.
Ship it. Literally ship it.
21 cents.
21 cents was what? 1 shilling?
It's like the Boston Tea Party or what? They're like,
25.
fuck these wigs, and they're throwing them off the boats. Keep your 21 cents, motherfucker.
Oh fuck. That's fucking funny.
Be putting rattlesnakes in and shipping them.
What are they made of though? George Washington had a whole bunch of shit fucked up with them. He had fake teeth made out of wood. He had teeth made out of wood,
I thought they were
dude.
made out of antler, though. I don't think they were made out of wood.
What are wigs made out of?
Powdered wigs. 1700 powder wigs.
Wigs in the 17 to 1800s were normally crafted using horse, goat, or human hair. According to historians, wigs made from animal hair were especially hard to keep clean and attracted lice. However, wigs were still seen as an attractive alternative to coping with lice infestation of your own scalp on your own scalp.
So it wasn't
Maybe it
syphilis.
wasn't syphilis.
It was lice.
No, I bet syphilis. Syphilis took out a lot of people back in the day.
You know who died from syphilis?
Who?
Al Capone.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
In Alcatraz. I never had taken that tour until this last year. We went to Cali, and that was pretty cool, man. Like, it's intense.
What? Would you
You just
just?
said syphilis cause dandruff. I was like, what the fuck? Some kinds of fuck. I got that fucking some. I used to suffer from some. You know what I mean?
The
Who knows?
syphili.
We got syphilis.
That's why Calvin had to shave his hair.
Yeah, that's why I had to go. That's why I had to go bald for Halloween. The second stage of syphilis can have varied manifestations with respect to the hair and scalp. Patchy alopecia. Shout out alopecia. Shout out to Jada. Patchy alopecia with the moth-eaten appearance can be observed on the scalp and facial hair. Telogen effluvium can be present. Syphilitic papules
I've never seen words that Calvin can't pronounce.
may line the scalp margin,
He was educated, folks.
known as a corona veneris. I haven't took a biology class in motherfucking years. I don't know any of these motherfucking words.
I don't know any of these motherfucking words. That's fucking wild.
I need to get out of the syphilis signs and symptoms. Moth-eaten alopecia. How do you say it?
Alopecia.
Alopecia. A sign of secondary syphilis.
Moth
All right,
eaten?
let's
So
pick
like
a
they attract moths?
Whitney, bitch.
It's Whitney, bitch.
Whitney Houston comes back. It'd be crazy, huh? All right, let's do this one again. This is because it's so fucking funny.
Oh my god.
Dude, that shit's so fucked up. I forgot what it was at first. All right, I got a good one right here. Ooh, 2 questions to get into heaven.
The Egyptian people believe when you get to heaven, when you die, they ask you 2 questions. Have you heard this before? The first question is, did you experience joy? And then the second question they ask you is, did you bring joy to others? Those are the only 2 questions to get into heaven. And ever since I heard that, I've like been obsessed with that idea of like, my job is just to create joy, both for myself, which a lot of people forget to do, and for others.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's solid.
It's deep.
Experience joy and give joy.
Yeah. That's the whole meaning of life.
I think I try to give joy to a lot of people. Try to make people
This
laugh.
podcast right here.
Joy
All 3 of
to
you.
the world.
Yeah.
All right, a little different one. Oh, this is crazy shit.
Remember, one of the most
This one's too long. It's like 3 minutes.
We gotta take that. I'm sorry.
This one seems good though.
Say less, Thotty.
Once you understand how the nervous system works, you realize that the real rich are people that grew up in a household with 2 loving parents that were very emotionally regulated, that prioritized healthy relationships, quality sleep, quality nutrition, exercise, movement, sunlight, family time. I don't actually think that most people understand how much of a leg up growing up in a household like this actually gives you in real life. In my opinion, that might be a little bit controversial, is that it is better for somebody to grow up in a home like that where there's less money versus a home with dysregulated parents that don't prioritize those things and make more money. Once you
So
understand
you're saying that you have to be poor to be a good parent?
Yeah. No, I don't think poor. I think make just enough.
Just skim on
Where you
by.
don't have to have 2 jobs, you know?
I think you could be a shitty rich parent or a shitty poor parent.
Yeah.
I don't.
Or shitty parent with time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There's
mean,
plenty of parents that have time and they just don't hang out with their kids at all.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me.
Doug's kids are frozen, you know what I mean?
And sometimes maybe you're a bad parent for fucking 3 months or 6 months.
You thought
but,
Dahmer
you know,
was bad. I've had a couple kids in the freezer for a couple years
You
now.
thought Dahmer was bad?
We're gonna have to cut these.
Doug has a couple kids in the freezer. You got locked up.
Like in the Goonies?
Not like that.
Fucking go in there. Chubb gets all stuck. I fucking love that movie.
Belly up present.
Chunk. My fucking Chubb. Okay, let's try this one.
What they find is a plane gone down, and in the plane was hundreds and hundreds of pounds of. They see it and they're like, holy shit. And they like send someone back or something. They're like, bro, bring everyone we trust, bring them up here. And the is in a lake, and I believe gasoline from the plane had leaked into the lake. So they're just like jumping in the water, getting as much of the weed out as they can. It's wrapped up, but like it's kind of getting in there. So they get it all out, They create this mountain of weed and they hike it all out before the authorities can get to it. And then when the authorities get there, everything's gone. And the authorities like, the authorities don't know there was any weed.
Yeah.
But they're like, this is odd. And so they start questioning all the climbers, and the climbers are like, we have no idea.
Yeah, dude.
Next minute, climbers start showing up with like super expensive stuff. And in fact, some of the climbers took the money they made from and they started a small company, and they made that company grow. And that company was
Shut the fuck
which is crazy. Like
It's Patagonia.
Yeah, how well is that? They say that Patagonia's founder he's a mountain climber. Like he's a rock climber. That's why the Patagonia founder. It's kind of some tricky like law shit, but basically when like he dies, basically all of the money from Patagonia goes to like conserve wildlife and all that shit, and all like their current funds, I think over a certain percentage, goes towards like funding wildlife and preserving wildlife and shit like that.
That's fucking wild.
I thought it was just a bunch of rich white kids.
Dude, Patagonia's the dopest. Patagonia, they show you like if you can buy just a zipper on their website if like your zipper breaks in your coat or whatever, or like if you like get a rip in your coat, they have like
patch.
They have like shit where you can like they tell you how to patch it, or like depending on where the cut is, how you should patch it, so you don't have to buy it again.
There's
cool
there's a company that we moved, like their machines, and it was right next to a weed company. But like the company that the weed company is using, they're using the same machine, and it like cleans it. But they send all their clothes. I don't know if it's clothes that hasn't been sold or whatever, but it send it back and clean it, and then they send it back out. So it's like sterilized to like to the most pristine, like, and that's the same company that uses the same, like it's the same machine but to clean weed.
Huh.
It's fucking weird, yeah.
So if I get lint in my fucking weed, it was from fucking might have been from that company.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my pocket.
Not my pocket.
Pocket nugs. Not a pocket nug before, yeah.
The nuggies?
You don't have a joint holder, you know? Stick that joint in there, next thing you know, come on. And the filter's like...
A little bit of...
Yeah.
That's
All right.
crazy, dude. That's fucking wild. If that's
I
true.
believe it, yeah, I believe it, though. Seems kind of crazy. I mean, if you're rock climbing in the fucking middle of South America or some shit, you got some fucking money a little bit.
Yeah,
especially if that's like 20, 30 years ago.
Maybe you don't.
The correlation.
Yeah, that's true.
There's like a lot of rock climbers that like...
Yeah. There's not like money in it,
live
obviously.
in van. Like there was a guy I watched on American Ninja Warrior. He like won it, and he lived in a van in Boulder with his whole lady. And they just fucking climb rocks and shit.
That's
I don't.
cool.
I mean,
Do what you love, you know? You don't have to
Yeah.
make money for it, as long as you're happy. Some people do that with their kids, and they just travel around.
Yeah.
They don't make any money. They just travel with their kids, live the hippie lifestyle.
I don't know how they do
Homeschool.
it.
I don't know how they eat food and everything else.
I had this girl I worked with. Her and her
Microgreens or what?
dude. They just wanted to travel, and I think it was like in his van or whatever. They started traveling, and they would just live somewhere, find like working for like a farm or whatever to like get food or just for the day or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'd stay there for a while. They'd move. They'd like fish and stuff. They just traveled the whole like West Coast, just up and down the West Coast, just smoking weed and enjoying their lives.
Well, you know, like Amazon, how they have distribution centers like all
Yeah.
over the United States. They have like part-time deals. My dad was reading about like in a retiring, like if you want to travel in your RV when you retire, but you still need a little bit of income, you could go to one of those centers. They have like campgrounds or spots where you could put your camper and work for them for like 2-3 weeks. You know, bank up a little bit of money, and then you could go on to like the next place.
That's so fucking dope.
That is cool, dude. Like if you're gonna retire like that, just
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
go
I fucking
work.
hate Amazon, but that is cool.
The correlation between age and happiness is a smile. So 0 to kind of 25 is beer, Star Wars, making out, prom, college football, or
Hold on real quick. Sorry, I thought there was more funny ones.
That's all serious.
Oh, just like serious, like super sad shit. Sorry, guys.
Goddamn.
Premier League football. 0 to 25 is usually pretty happy. 25 to 45 is what I call the shit gets real years. You realize that distinct to what your parents, your uni told you, you're not going to have a fragrance named after you or be a member of parliament. You have kids. You have economic stress. Someone you love a great deal gets sick and dies. Your parents, right? Life gets very hard very fast, 25 to 45. And generally speaking, these are the least happy years. And then something wonderful happens, usually in your late 40s or early 50s, and that is you start recognizing the finite nature of life. Maybe you have some economic security. Maybe you've established relationships. Maybe you have these really wonderful things that are less awful, that look, smell, and feel like you, called kids. You realize that life is short. And the happiest generation, the happiest age cohort, is the cohort that should be the least happy because they're not healthy, is old people. So what the learning here is that if you wake up at 35...
Real quick, do you think old people are the happiest?
Bet you there's a lot of regrets.
There's some grumpy fucking old people.
I know. I've been around some grumps.
How come girls think old men are cute?
That's weird, huh?
I think because they're just...
But not old women. They know old women are bitches.
When's the last time you looked at an old woman, you're like, damn, you're cute? Like, nah, probably not.
It's because they're, I think
it's like...
their masculinity's kind of gone.
I think it's cute. Like, old women are cute when, like, they're, like, super helpful and nice. And, like, they're just so old and they're just, like, so, like, nice. You know? I think that's how women...
They're always trying to help out.
Yeah. Like, they just smile at you. Like, they just want to talk. You're like, oh, you're so cute, lady. I love your lipstick. Try to take them home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take them back to their retirement place.
Try to get a ride in that Buick to the
Yeah,
house.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying to walk across the street, you know what I mean, over to the house.
That was back when I didn't have a whip, you know?
Trying to take
That
her,
Saturn's not always reliable back in the day.
trying to take her out to ice cream, huh?
I used to be at Whole Foods. I used to, all the old ladies love me.
And you have a couple kids and you have a spouse or you have a job and you think, shit, this is hard. I'm not that happy. Recognize that's part of the journey and just keep on keeping on. Happiness waits for you in most instances. So happiness is absolutely a smile. So I think it's helpful just to know that as you move into your income earning years, as you move into your mating and child rearing years and the depth of work and your parents start aging, it's stressful. And it's hard. And if you're unhappy or feel unhappy at times, that is normal. That's part of the journey. And for me, it was helpful to read that because I'm looking forward to all the happiness that's kind of coming my way, and I can feel it as you get older. You just start finding joy in weird places.
I think the thing from that is like
God damn, dude.
happiness is like happiness waits for you. I think that's so.
You know what I
I
think?
think that was the whole thing.
I think that guy needs to go find ate the mushrooms and find himself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you shouldn't be that unhappy.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to hate your life if you have kids and a wife and a job. Like you could. There is stressful times.
Yeah.
And as I'm growing, it is way more
Yeah.
stressful. There's more things to worry about. But as a man, there's your family depending on you. But not only do they depend on you, maybe something that everybody else doesn't realize is how much you depend on them too.
Yeah.
Because you become a better. Most people become a better person because they want to provide and give their family and spouse better than what they have.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I see the stress in it, but, like, there's still a lot of joy to be had. There's all those first moments of your children growing up, them talking, them walking, those weird things kids do that just randomly happen and you just laugh hysterically and like nobody would understand it, but it just happens. Like that's something that's I think is.
I think our generation's a little bit more better at that than previously, other generations because.
I think it's finding the joy in the small things. Like he says that, like you wait for those, like you appreciate them more later in life. But I think you can always appreciate them. You don't have to necessarily go through loss or hurt.
Yeah, to appreciate.
It obviously makes it more meaningful sometimes if you lost someone and then you have that moment later on that,
Yeah, but like, I kind of look at life as like, people are put in your life for a reason, and like, you either learn something from that person or take something from it. So like, yeah, we all have dealt with death, grief, sadness. Some still are, some haven't had crazy, loss yet, but I think it's important to look at what those people taught you and made you who you are too.
True that.
To like move on, to be like a better person for your kids, or to be there for somebody in a hard time when that older person or somebody that, was there for you, you could also be that person for somebody else.
Yeah. But
people get lost in the stress of life and they don't realize like
life is happening.
Life is happening. You're right, and like you could totally help people.
I think it's people don't live in the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's true.
It's all the moment. All you have is the moment. It's everything else is pretend.
Right.
That's
yeah,
not like.
yeah.
I think me and Mal kind of live that way, but like, cause we don't take pictures at all. Like, but we're just like living. Cause you know what I mean. We're just in the moment. Like, we're on our phones all the goddamn time. But like when we're doing stuff, like I wish we would take pictures.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because we're like just in the moment at that point.
I think it's like being in the moment at all times though. Like even when you're just watering the grass. You know what I mean? Like you're just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, and just thinking
Like,
about
just,
like I'm giving life to
like
something.
in thinking of like you start thinking of like other things you should be doing or shit like that. Like you're just being in the moment and just you know what I mean?
I'm watering grass.
Just brushing your teeth. You're just brushing. There's nothing else. Just brushing your teeth the best you can brush your teeth. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to stay in that moment and just like whatever you're doing, you do the best at it. Like I think about it a lot when I'm in the shower. Like just wash my head the best I can. You know what I mean? Or wash my body the best I can. Like focus on that and not, you know, because what that moment you're thinking about is coming, regardless of if you think about it right now and think about all the scenarios that can happen. That moment's coming in a few minutes anyway. It fucks me over because I can't remember shit anyway. So if I'm not focused on trying to remember something, sometimes it just goes out of my mind. But you know, that's how I am. I live in the moment.
Well, and I think in those rough years that he was talking about too, is like you're so focused on the next
providing
step.
Yeah.
and everything else.
Like you're looking ahead, like, oh, we need to save this money for this, or
The next house, the next kid.
what we need to do, or where we need to be, or we're not where we need to be. What do we need to do to be there?
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of people don't take the time to.
And I think it's harder nowadays because we have social media, so you can see how other people's lives are.
Yeah, I was talking to Kelly and my mother-in-law about it. Like, when's the last time you were bored? Because like our kids are never bored, right?
No.
They always have something. They always have an iPad or something they can
Or
get
the
to.
toys or something,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So like, when's the last time you were bored though? You know what I mean? Like you get bored, you just. I love seeing it, like being somewhere in public where I'm by myself, like whether it's like I go to get coffee or some shit, or I'm just like waiting for food or something.
Yeah.
Or at a bar, and you just see like as soon as someone's by themselves, like the conversation ends, or someone's not talking, and like it's just immediate.
Yeah, that's me.
Whether you just check the time or whatever, I love that feeling. I love that moment of just like sitting in it. Like just being awkward, like just letting my phone not be there and just feeling
And
that.
fighting it?
Yeah, like fighting it. I love that shit. Like I don't know why I like it.
I don't like that.
It was like
It's hard, but I like it.
like Friday, my phone was dead.
So
So I text Karina and I let her know like, hey, I'm going to eat with my parents. I'm leaving my phone on the charger. I'll talk to you when I get back. Like went and opened the gate and I was waiting for my parents to come to the truck and I just like sat in the back seat of the truck waiting. And I remember thinking to myself like, I don't have my phone. Like, what am I gonna do? Like,
That's how we were as kids. Like we just sat in the back. And
It's awkward.
yeah,
Like not awkward, but just.
you gotta use your imagination
Yeah.
too, though.
I
Like,
think people are more socially. They're less social now because
That's-
of.
That's why I say like the worried about like our generation of kids, because like the kids we have will always have something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always have like something to get to, so they're not bored. Kids aren't bored anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have that imagination type shit. I mean, Carter's always doing some crazy. He always talks about his brother and sister. He doesn't have a brother and sister, but he talks about them.
not yet.
He's me and my brother. He's talking about him and his brother being in the army. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Just like
I don't know what's going on, dude. Like that masculinity, like shooting guns and shit.
Yeah,
Your
Calvin
son
is
is the opposite.
I was conceived in the army, all right? Like I was bred to be a fucking killer.
I think
Fucking Jason Bourne, and I'm fucking all anarchy. You know what I mean? My son is fucking give me a gun. Let me shoot some shit. I'm
me
gonna fucking
see
be in
your-
a monster truck.
Let me see your truck. Start the lawnmower. He's like the manliest.
We'll be
Kid.
on the way to school. He's like, Dad, you see that monster truck? And I was like, I don't think that was a monster truck.
Calvin
I was like,
doesn't
"It was
even
just
know.
meant to-"
He's just like, ah.
He's like, what kind of truck is that, Dad? I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a Ford.
But he knows.
We were somewhere. He's all, Dad, that truck looks like Blake's. He's seen Blake's truck like once or twice in his fucking life, and he's like, that truck looks like Blake's, and I'm like, I think that's a fucking GMC right there. That's a fucking kid's a fucking genius. I don't know.
Oh fuck, that's fucking funny.
He has a good memory.
That's crazy. Do you think like how like Carter's talking about like his brothers and sisters? Like, do you think kids like, you know, like how people like always say like they had a past life or everyone's had a past life?
Mhm.
Do you think that's like what they say or like it's? Because like I even saw some lady on TikTok talking about her son and saying like that. It's like he already know. He's like, oh, I've already done this before. And
It's weird. It makes me think like, is this like his future, or is this his past? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does he know what's coming? Like, he's gonna have a brother he does all these things with?
Yeah.
That he has all these fun experiences with? And a sister? Or is it because he doesn't have them yet? Or is it his, like, he had a past life? I think we all go into a spirit world, things like that and stuff. A heaven, whatever you call it. But I think it's interesting how your genes, like, you remember things through your genes, like generational trauma or generational things like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like those spirits come back through your bloodline and shit. You know what I mean?
Have you guys heard of this? Something about a kid that had a scar on his face.
I think I've seen that.
And he died. I don't know, did he get hit by a shovel or something? I don't remember what happened to him. He died, got murdered or something. Came back, was born again, and like was the same person. Remembered it, was born with a birthmark on his face where the scar was, and then took people to the dead body.
Yeah, he took his parents to it. Because he knew, like, how he died in his previous life.
What the fuck?
That's like some
so
movie
the
shit.
dead body was just there, like no one knew about it, and then they
It was
found.
a fucking skeleton, bro.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think they, like, dug it up and
I
shit.
wish I would have read about or had it more fresh in my mind to be able to tell a story better. But it was like basically something. He had a scar on his face
That
from
was
something,
very similar.
and then he was born with a birthmark on his face, and then as he grew up, took them to the dead body.
I've heard that, though, before, though, like, a birthmark on your face is how you died in your previous life.
I've heard birthmarks too. Yeah.
Carter has one in the back of his head, a red mark right here.
Oh my gosh. I had one that covered my whole hand when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
And it was like one of those ones that went away. But like when I was a kid,
Yeah,
like
that's how Carter's is.
people thought it was a bruise. So like we'd be in Walmart or whatever, and like people would grab my hand and like
you
think
okay?
my mom was like
Abusing
yeah.
you?
Yeah, because like now.
And she was, but you know, it was no big deal. We got spankings back then, you know what I'm saying?
My sister had the one on her neck. Do you remember? Kaya
a
had the one.
hickey.
Yeah, it always looked like a hickey. She used to always get in, like, they would always ask her at school and stuff, like, what the hell, why do you have a... Because she would call it her hickey. She'd call it her hickey. They're like, why the fuck do you have a hickey?
Yeah.
But it's, like, super, like, she barely has it now.
Yeah, that's how, like, when Isabella was born, in Easton, too, they all have the Mongolian mark. So it's, like, right here. It's, like, a dark mark right here, but Isabella has it on her hands, too. And the doctors take pictures of it when she was born, so then... If they go back to records or anything like that, like if they say like there's abuse, they can see like
oh really?
She was born with it or not. Because it looked
her
hand looked like a bruise. It looked like a bruise, like
red or what?
No, it was like purple. Like dark because we're so
I've
dark
seen
complected.
It. I've seen it.
Yeah, and it looks like a bruise.
Yeah. I thought you just hit her.
Shut the fuck up. And Easton and Isabella both have it like above their butt.
Huh. Maybe you're Mongolian, bro.
It's called a Mongolian mark. It's like happens like people who are more dark complected.
They can say they had a Mongolian tail, like Dragon Ball Z
yeah,
shit. I was like, whoa!
I was like, tails and shit.
He's a Super Saiyan. Ah! I've seen a kid get mad, you know.
Easton, yeah, he does.
He has it in him. All right, you want to go another one? Or you guys want to talk about? Wait, you guys want to do another one or no?
Fuck it, you got me.
Got a good one? Or...
Yeah, my funny one. What is this?
I'm trying to
this is all deep shit. Fuck, I'm over feeling sad about myself.
I'm trying to laugh so hard I fart.
I got a psychedelics one. That one's definitely not funny.
I think it's deep, but...
What's that one?
The Goofy?
Oh, where it's like a... Yeah, let's see. Give me comfort.
They did a fake documentary about a guy who wanted to make the blackest movie over at Disney and was prepared to get fired over it, and how a Goofy movie is supposed to be this radical black film.
After class one day, he showed me some of these pieces, and I looked at it, and I looked...
I think it's like a fake documentary about a Goofy movie being like a black film.
At him, and I thought, this kid is from another universe.
Like, this guy's going crazy because he wanted to make this movie about a single black dad, which is Goofy and Max.
He would be screaming, "We don't dance like that!" And he would bring his friends' kids in. They would moonwalk and you know, do all like, you know, this stuff, you know?
Oh man, I must have drawn a pair of gloves dapping, I don't know, over 5,000 times.
Max is dope. Max is the coolest.
The more I got into it, because I was like, wow, this is getting bizarre.
You see my knees? See this angle of these knees? Draw this!
And that's the guy. Is this fake or not, Calvin?
Yeah.
If we, how's that? How's that go?
Dude, but Goofy is dope as fuck.
I like the Goofy movie.
You know, he's the coolest guy. He's the coolest character.
We
Donald's definitely.
We can all see each other eye to eye.
Donald's a frat boy because his uncle's Uncle Scrooge. You know what I mean? He definitely comes from some
Nick
money.
Scrooge.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mickey is Mexican because he always has mouse-tools and shit like that. Fucking
Shut the fuck.
guaranteed Mickey's Mexican, and he doesn't have enough money to buy a ring and shit.
How the fuck does Pluto look like Goofy and he's a dog?
Goofy's a dog.
So they pick and choose who's dogs and who's
Oh,
not?
they said Goofy was a cow.
Oh yeah, no, they are cows.
Is it-
Yeah, he's a cow.
Goofy's
I don't
a
know
dog.
if that's true.
No, Goofy's a
I
cow.
don't know if
dude.
that's true, but
Goofy's
I've
a
heard,
dog.
I've
No,
heard
because
it.
Mirabelle's a cow. Yeah.
Sorry.
Is Goofy a dog or a
Goofy
cow?
is a species of dog, but in the same way that Mickey is a mouse, he is given human-like qualities. So he's not a human, Chris.
Yeah, but so why is Pluto a fucking dog?
What about Speedy Gonzales?
What about Slowpoke
mouse.
Rodriguez?
So is Mickey.
Goofy. Was he the one that was always like all...
Yeah, they said he's a pie.
Goofy's
Slowpoke Rodriguez.
lady, cow.
Clarabelle.
Clarabelle has also made appearances in preschool series Mickey's Mouse Clubhouse and features Goofy's girlfriend. She owns a puppy named Bella and is a
puppy? See?
Clarabelle cow.
Clarabelle cow, see? She looks just like Goofy, but with horns.
Maybe I was, I don't know.
Is Pluto a dog?
Yes.
Is that because like black
What if
guys like...
Pluto's like a fucking prairie dog or something like that? You
He's
know
a
what I mean?
hound dog.
A hound dog?
Look at him.
I know, but like...
Dude, what were those cartoons with the big dog and the little dog? In the doghouse. You don't remember?
The
Old
cartoon,
school.
like tunings?
The names.
Like Looney Tunes?
No, it's a big dog and he's like sheepdog with the hair over his face.
Yeah.
There's a little dog. There's a little dog that's always fucking bitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was the two bulldogs too.
They were the bad guys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the sheepdog was in with the rooster.
That's
guy.
why.
What the fuck's his name?
Fuck. Foghorn Leghorn?
I don't know the name.
Is it Foghorn Leghorn?
Read that out loud, Calvin.
He is
He's
Mickey's
a
pet.
hound.
No, he's a mixed breed.
Officially a mixed breed dog. He made his debut as a bloodhound in Mickey Mouse cartoon The Chain Gang.
The Chain Gang, dude.
Together with Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, and Goofy, Pluto is one of the sensational six, the biggest stars.
So how
of
is
Disney
Pluto a
movies.
dog and fucking Goofy a dog? That's what I don't understand.
You acting like a bunch of dogs. He says you're losing. You're losing to a bunch of dogs.
Or cartoon hound dog?
Oh,
Rooster?
Foghorn Leghorn dog. I told you.
I didn't know. I didn't know his name.
I
used to watch that, dude. That shit was funny.
Dude, he is a funny motherfucker.
Dude, they used to get away with some funny shit.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to watch some old cartoons.
They have all the old ones on HBO Max.
I'm gonna have to
Did
check
Cartoon
them
Network
out.
go out of business, I think?
I don't know if they
I
got
saw
bought
that.
out or something.
I saw that Cartoon Network went out of business.
Oh, I think it's because Warner Brothers got bought out by Discovery.
Oh, did they?
It was a merger, like a Warner Brothers Discovery merger. That's why they're bringing back all the... They're making a big push now for all the DC Universe movies.
Oh, yeah, they tried to...
Like Black Adam,
Yeah.
and I think Superman made a cameo and all that shit.
Did you see that NFL commercial that was Yellowstone? Dude, it was pretty tight, bro.
Calvin, do you watch Yellowstone?
No.
Oh, you gotta get into Cowboys and Indians, bro.
I know, it makes me angry.
Now they team up together, though.
I know, that's what makes me angry. It's a lie! Kidding. pass me the
So
beer.
last time I go to a casino,
Last time I go to a casino.
I'll be playing dice with Takeoff. I might have to cut that one.
Are you trying to argue yourself?
No.
You trying to argue yourself?
R.I.P. Takeoff. Sorry, bro. I was reading about that, though. I don't know the drama, and I don't know all the people, but shit gets real.
Take off. You got murdered?
Oh, yeah. Got blasted.
They said no one called the cops.
Yeah.
Everyone was just recording.
Ain't no snitches.
That's fucked up.
But they said they released a music video on that Monday before, and the Grim Reaper was sitting behind Takeoff. Another conspiracy. I haven't checked it out for myself,
The
but
music industry shit is kind of crazy.
Shout
Just
Shout out to Kanye.
shout out to
Black Jesus.
Mac Miller in a coffin right before he dies.
Yeah. Self-care. Oh fuck. Damn, Doug.
Young Dolph had like something on his album before he died or some shit.
Young Dolph?
He was in a bulletproof Cadillac. Like, he was, like, calling people out and shit, and then they ran up on him when he was getting some cookies, you know what I'm saying?
At Crumble.
R.I.P. Dolph. No, it was like a local cookie place.
Local cookies.
Not local.
Oh, that's a genius name. Local Cookies?
Local Cookies.
It's just local.
The fuck is this?
The most expansive, craziest experiences I've ever had is when I was doing breath work in the woods. It was my first experience with it. I also had a little taste of a psychedelic mixed with it. But it wasn't a lot of psychedelics. It was a lot of breath work. I did the breath work, and at the end, I found myself in a place where I had instant answers to anything I asked. And I asked, of course, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Something we all want to know. And I always thought it was an occupation, something you have to do. But a voice in my head, not mine, says, you are to be a breath of fresh air everywhere you go. And when I heard that, it rung true in every...
Yeah, I think he passed out. He probably hyperventilated or something.
Sorry.
Breathing too hard.
To pursue our desires, but true freedom is...
So what was Kanye saying? Like, I know he was saying a whole bunch of stuff.
Double inhales followed by an extended exhale are the fastest way to bring the mind and the body into a more relaxed state. 2 inhales through the nose, and then exhale slow through the mouth. 1 to 3 of those repeated will bring your level of autonomic arousal down basically to baseline.
Dude, this dude, Andrew Huberman, he has the Huberman podcast. He's a neuroscientist. He has all kinds of like cool experiments, and he has all kinds of cool people and shit. He just talks about like how the brain works.
What was that breathing thing? You breathe in.
You take, so it's like, to calm yourself, to get rid of anxiety. Like you take, I think it's a big breath in, and then you take followed by another like short breath. So like you maximize yourself, and then you dick another one.
Dick another one?
You take another one.
You dick it. I ain't dicking nothing. Put that on the record.
Just when you don't think you take anymore, you dick a little more.
You dick a little more, dick that little bit.
You dick deeper.
But he also says this like when you're working out. Like if you think you're maxed out on reps, you take those 2 breaths, and you go, and give yourself another one, and just calm your mind back. Just calms your mind just enough so where you can not think about that and knock out a few more reps.
I guess it's like a mental anxiety because you're like mentally fatigued, or like your mind's
it's all mental.
telling you know.
Yeah.
But if you like stop your brain and like take a breath and I think
that's what he says.
I think for anyone that experiences anxiety from time to time, which is everybody, knowing that you can consciously take control over these neurons that control the ratio of carbon dioxide and oxygen in your lungs, etc. Even if you don't remember any of that, it's just 2 inhales through the nose. What you're trying to do is maximally inflate those little sacs in your lungs, and then exhale long through the mouth because you're blowing off carbon dioxide.
Alright, let me see if I have any funny shit that I sent.
I've been bringing it on this whole time.
Sorry, Doug.
Yeah, I'm still nervous.
Sorry, Doug. I thought
nervous if you're gonna bring something funny up.
I was nervous you're gonna dick it in.
Look at all these old ones. God damn.
Fuck around and get dicked down.
This one looks funny. I put a lot of kids ones on here.
Let's say you're out and you're hiking in the middle.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Or at least interpret from you. I don't know if these are your exact words, but that sin is really simple as anything that makes you weaker.
Yes, exactly. Like, yeah, I don't think people are really evil. I think they...
Hold up, shout out to this guy, Owen Benjamin. He has a thing like 2017, he's talking about like the Denver DIA, all the shit.
Yeah, that shit was...
The Grim Reaper and all the Nazi shit, and like the...
Was he explaining it bedward or what?
He has a joke on it, and he's like talking about like, he's talking about like crazy shit. He's like, fuck you guys, like you guys aren't laughing at this shit. You guys, your DIA is like literally a fucking Nazi paradise, some shit. But he kind of went off the deep end a little bit. He was on Joe Rogan when Joe Rogan was like kind of newer. But he was a comic, and he was the dude from House Bunny. He's like her friend in House Bunny.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she ends up falling in love with him.
Yeah.
But he was like a legit like Hollywood dude, like not a big one, but he's a comedian.
Yeah.
And then he's like off the grid now. Like he lives in Montana. He has land. Like he does a podcast every single day, but like it's super conspiracy theory type shit. Like,
every day.
He doesn't believe in. He's like a flat earther kind of.
Kind of.
But
what do you
this
mean?
shit's cool.
They become weak and then infested by evil. Think like, drinking booze, and if someone's just hammered, someone's just like, ugh! Because it's why it's called spirits. You do sin, and then you get invaded by like these like other entities, in my opinion.
And I've seen it where like I've been at a big event before and had a stranger come up to me who's like shit-faced drunk and say shit to me that they could have no way to know meant something very specific to me, like dark synchronicity.
Well, yeah, there is dark synchronicity. Totally, dude. And I think you hollow yourselves out, and then something comes in you. Dude, I know there's demons. I got buddies. I have a lot of friends in law enforcement, and they're like, everybody on meth sees the same shit. They're like, it's a green-eyed shadow. And they're like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how do they all see the same fucking thing? And that's why it's called Under the...
On second thought, we probably shouldn't put this one because you two will probably pull it. Because they don't put any of his shit on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The words...
He's shadow banned.
They're telling you
DHS
straight
got him.
up what the fuck they're doing. Like, the words are so blatant. You know, like, under the influence when you drink spirits. Like, it's right there, you know?
I don't know. I've never heard that before. And I've never had anybody tell me anything totally specific. I've been drunk many times.
I've heard that before. That's why it's called spirits.
That could
because it makes it easy for spirits to invade your body when you're like under the influence. I've heard that before, but he kind of has a different point or whatever. I don't know.
Odd.
They talk about like dark synchronicities and shit like that. So it's good. Ooh, did we get something funny?
I think we did, and you just fucking skipped it.
Here we go. Is it Owen Benjamin? Because I hope not.
It is.
Caitlyn Jenner is Woman of the Year, but hasn't been a woman for a full year.
Oh, this is good.
Caitlyn Jenner was voted...
This is Owen Benjamin, because he used to be in Hollywood. He's like, they all stole my jokes. Fuck all of them. And he kind of has a point.
Woman of the Year. Her first year as a woman. This is who I feel bad for. Because you got the LBGT, right? Yeah. There's more every day right now. Well, I'll tell you when it happened. You know, you hear all those letters together all the time. LBGT, LBGT. It all started with the L's. Of course, next to G's and passenger seat.
Oh, fuck. This is Chappelle. This is...
Chappelle's...
The B's are people for a loop. It's never really...
Owen Benjamin's set, I think he's still working on it, isn't that good.
Yeah,
but Chappelle's is on a special, so it's different quality a little bit, you know what I mean? But
same content. Yeah. Like, that's the stuff that Joe
it's
Rogan
easier
and all
to...
them get mad about.
Yeah.
And who do they hate?
Carlos Mencia.
Carlos Mencia.
He used to steal shit.
For the same shit.
And Bert hates that John Maher, or he's the white dude, he has blonde hair, he's come out in a bunch of shit in the early 2000s. Bert used to open for him, Bert Kreischer used to open for him, and he started stealing one of Bert's jokes, and Bert's like, you can't have that. Like, no, you can't have my joke. And the guy's like, yeah, I do, it's mine. Fuck you.
Yeah, because he was like...
Yeah, Bert has a big show, because he was the opener. He was the headliner, I mean. And Bert was just in the middle of the feature. But, dude, this is crazy. This is, like, I understand he's, like, has some crazy conspiracy shit that he believes in. But then this is like kind of like what the fuck? Like,
what actually came first? His?
Yeah, his.
Yeah, they show the year it's posted.
It's like a year or two before. This shit's funny though.
They seem greedy to the L's and the G's, you know what I mean? They're just sitting in the back seat like, yeah, man, I'll fuck anybody in this car.
Caitlyn Jenner is Woman of the
That's
Year.
fucking...
That's crazy.
That's little...
Dude, I want to pull that Chappelle one up though because it's so fucking funny.
Chappelle's
have you heard that LGBTQ one?
Yeah.
That one's so fucking funny.
And also, when you're flying into the good old
Damn.
Denver
Oh, I'm just on
airport,
it's the airport
they
one.
noticed that the runways are an exact swastika. A swastika, the probability that you just put the lines like a swastika is really low. Like there's a triangle, square, there's all kinds of
Maybe that's
shapes.
because the wind and the weather we get here, though, too.
And then they're like, well, it's efficient for the runway. Actually, it's not. I looked into it because I don't watch pornography. There's less planes coming and going per square foot because of the fun swastika shape. And then they're like, but it's not Nazi related. It's like, well, what about the giant mural of the Nazi? I'm not kidding, guys. I put it on Instagram.
That was probably good that it shut off.
R.I.P. That was an hour and 52 minutes, so Lavino needs to step the game up.
Dude, that was good one he was on too. On Benjamin.
Yeah, I don't think
rolling.
I've ever.
I used to like him before. He has like one Joe Rogan, then he like goes off on Joe Rogan now, being like a part of the people and like selling out and all kinds of shit.
Well, like I like to listen to that, but do you think he's still an average guy, or do you think he's a part of the influence now?
I think.
Dogs, get out! Out! Get out, bandit! Bingo had to leave.
I think he knows now. Joe Rogan knows now, regardless whether he wants or not, he is influence. You know, 10 million people watch him more people watch him than the news. You know what I mean?
Is
Like,
Joe Rogan? You said Joe Rogan's not on YouTube anymore?
Just clips, just the JRE clips. They don't have like the full episodes.
What are they on now?
Spotify. He took that contract.
Shout out to Spotify. Two guys, one chat.
You go watch the videos on Spotify?
Yeah.
Full video.
Yeah.
Spotify.
Oh, shit.
Two guys, one chat.
I
Chris just found out they've been on fucking Spotify for at least 9-10 episodes.
You know what I mean? I do that.
Way longer than that.
No,
I uploaded all the old ones.
Oh, you guys? I thought you were talking about
No.
Rogan. I'm like, I'm gonna watch that shit for a minute on Spotify.
No, we're trying to get one of those $100 million contracts too. Spotify. Shout out to you boys.
Let's get at least a $5 million. We'll take that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
$5.
Something.
Send a gift card to your subscription.
I'll take a hat. You know.
Give us a free subscription. We're producing content. You know.
I pay for mine.
Same family plan.
I don't. I use the free Spotify.
You want to get on my family plan?
No.
I have 6 connects.
I have 6 connects.
I'm using 3.
I was on a friend of mine's family plan on the iTunes, though, but so somebody took their credit card off of there. You know what I'm saying? The cloud is full again. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you can do a halftime how too? Or we just gonna do an ender?
A shot fund, how to?
Were you gonna do one? You just put the.
I was going to.
Oh, you just
They
put the
were
line-
in here still.
Oh.
Calvin's like upset you don't have it.
I'm sorry, but like I could make something up. Just
No,
give
it's
me a
all
few
good.
seconds.
No, I'm.
You know what we're gonna do?
I'm fine with it.
Halftime out too. Whatever's in this goddamn fridge, we're drinking.
I was fine with it.
We're doing a mat shot or what?
Oh fuck!
Some Tito's.
There's some
Ooh, a slushy.
No, there's some there's some good ones in there.
Something good in there.
You do have to shotgun a beer.
I don't know how.
I think the funnel's in here.
Chris was shotgunning Twisted Teas on my couch.
I have Twisted Teas in there. Peach, raspberry, the best flavors.
My
dude.
white fucking couches. Chris is sitting with a fucking Twisted Tea.
White. Who the fuck gets white couches? First off, foremost.
The only people I know with white couches are drug dealers. They got a white couches and a glass coffee table.
Hey, we got a brown one now. Coffee table.
Oh,
the white still shows up.
Dude, I saw this video on Steve-O when he talked about was he talking like this? When he talked about when he was like at his worst, like with cocaine addiction.
Okay.
He said he'd go to he went to his dealer's house, and his dealer used to inject cocaine. Like inject it, and then he said they just spray the blood all over the fucking, like, it's like a weird thing. And then he said he went there, and he was like all fucked up, and then Steve-O said that he fucking saw that there's like residue of cocaine on the table where his drug the hostess part, where the drug dealer was, or where the drug dealer's table was, and he said he scraped it, and there's a little bit of blood on there.
Still snorted it.
Still snorted it. And the guy was HIV positive.
Oh no!
Yes.
He's like, fuck it, I'll be okay. Oh
He said
my
he
god.
saw it. He saw the speck and he still did it.
Did you get that one of Steve-O and Mike Tyson? They were at a party together and Steve-O had like, I don't know how much he had, maybe like an ounce of blow. No, it was like, it was a significant amount of blow with him. And him and Mike Tyson went and locked themselves in the bathroom at this party.
Locked themselves in?
And smoked this fucking coke. Like through cigarettes and shit. They were doing coke for like 3.5 hours.
Oh my god.
And then he's like, in true Steve-O fashion, as soon as the coke was gone, I bounced. But it was Steve-O's coke and him and Mike Tyson. They actually met a couple times in life. Like one was in
It's like randomly.
mental hospital. No, like their paths have
That's crazy that
crossed.
Steve-O's like sober now, completely sober.
He still fucking looks like this. I wonder what happened to us. Does he always talk like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, But he's done a bunch of drugs. He's done a lot of people do those whippets. It's
CO2 cartridges.
CO2 cartridge. I don't know if it's CO2.
Yeah, because that's what's in the whipped cream.
Whipped cream.
It's CO2. They turn it upside down.
So they get those things like Starbucks has for the whipped cream. You know how they do it in bulk, and they put the little canister and they screw.
You know, like the BB guns, the CO2.
And then they flip it upside down and.
Well, people do.
I've done a whippet or two.
I've never done one. It's a short term, like.
I think people do those fucking the air duster.
Yeah, the air dust, the fucking.
That's why they put that chemical in there so it tastes bad.
Oh really?
Yeah, like the new air dusters.
They're not the same, huh?
Not that
they don't
I've
hit the
ever
same.
done.
They don't hit the same.
I used to get Sharpies, you know.
Ooh. Or the big Sharpies. Ooh. The big ones are like that big.
Yeah, the thick ass boys. You can smell it as soon as you pop the
as
cap
soon as you
off.
pop the cap, a freshie. Woo!
Well, I think that's a marker company's fault because back when I was a kid, they had those markers that were scented.
That smell good.
They literally had scented cherry, apple, watermelon, orange.
Oh, dude, your nose would be all different colors.
You were the weird kid, huh, Doug? Sitting there in first grade, just
double face,
double nose, and just double nostrils up.
Red and orange. Red and green.
Fucking Sharpie.
My little brother stuck so many nerds up his nose that my mom had to call the doctor. She's like, I don't know what to do. And the doctor's just like, it's just like nerds. Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, it's just nerds. And she's like, they'll dissolve. So he blew his nose like purple for like 2 days.
Oh my god.
They're like up there. And one time he stuck a bean up. We had to go into the doctor for that one. He just stuck a bean all the way up his fucking nose.
One time I put a bead in my nose.
Oh shit.
And it turned sideways. No, like a regular bead. I was a kid.
Anal bead.
And I put the bead in there, and it turned sideways. So I was trying to blow it out.
You had no back pressure. No, whistling. That was all.
I couldn't get it out. You know, like when you're a kid and you like do something like
you're scared,
and you know you're gonna get in trouble, and you're like fucking freaking out, like trying to fix it.
I put silly
whistling.
I put silly putty in my ear one time, like pushed it hard.
What were you thinking, Chris?
I don't know, cause like I did it once, like you know what I mean, just a little bit.
You trying to do the form of your ear, or what?
Yeah, but and then I like spun it even like thin so that I could fit it in my ear, and like I just shoved it tight, packed it tight, and then some of it was still in there.
Oh my god.
Dude, I remember one time I was under the trampoline and I jacked one of my mom's lighters, and she had all this hot glue gun stuff for crafts and stuff, and I grabbed one of those hot glue sticks and I was melting it, and I was sitting like Indian style, Native American style, sorry, Calvin, underneath the trampoline.
Crisscross applesauce, I think.
Okay.
Yo. He was sitting doggy style.
And I'm melting it, and it dripped onto my leg, dude.
Oh,
and it burnt the shit out of me, and I knew I was gonna get in trouble. And I remember like trying to peel it off, and it wouldn't come off.
My.
And I had to like use a knife. I swear.
And Doug doesn't have no hair on his body, so it was just straight skin.
I had to use a knife, dude.
It was
and I like cut the glue off my skin.
Oh my god.
And it was like bleeding and stuff.
Oh my.
And my mom's like, what happened? I was like, oh, I just scraped my leg, but I remembered, dude. I was like shitting balls. I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble.
There's one thing I saw on TikTok, like
she's gonna find out about that one.
There's one thing I saw on TikTok, but like the way kids learn the most, like how you learn from your mistakes, but like the way people or kids or whoever they learn most from is like if they learn it and then something like if I slap you or something, you're gonna remember it because you have like a
spike in adrenaline.
Yeah, spike in adrenaline or something like that.
I saw that too. They said, I don't know if it's the same one, but they said when kids were, it was Andrew Huberman, the one we were watching earlier, and he said that in Europe, in like the 1600s or 1700s, that they would teach kids something, like teach school children things, and then throw them in the river.
Oh yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Because you throw them in the river, it spikes their adrenaline.
And they'll remember it.
And so you're supposed to, in order to remember something, you don't like just try really hard to remember. You learn something, and then you spike your adrenaline. And that's how you remember your body, because your body has that response. Because I think like in the wild, if you were doing something and then you're about to get attacked or you're almost killed, you need to remember what the fuck just happened.
So then you learn.
Doesn't happen again, yeah. It's crazy.
Makes sense. I mean,
that's some fucking brain hack.
So learn something. Take an ice cold shower. That's what the ice baths. They say those fucking.
Just turn the shower, bro. Turn the shower on.
I can't do it, dude. I can't. I try to do it.
10 seconds.
I try. I can't even last a second.
You gotta control your breath. You gotta control your breath. That's what Joey Diaz says when he's in the fucking cryo. He's like, if you don't have your breath within the first minute, you're fucked. Like, you just gotta control your breath and just focus on your breathing, you know? Be in the moment.
Jeez, dude, I try to do the cold shower.
I try to do it every time I take a shower.
The cold?
Yeah. Some days, it's a little harder than others.
Dude, I'm just like, oh, I can't do this. And then my breathing gets out of control. That's exactly what happens. And I'm like,
you start panicking, and then you're like, fuck. It feels like hasn't been 5 seconds. It feels like it's been 30 seconds already. Like I need to get the fuck out of this. You know. But you just calm your mind down. Like the second I'm gonna try those 2 breaths. I haven't tried that in there.
Ooh.
Well, even like anytime you're in a state of panic, I don't know that everybody's able to deal with this, but like sometimes I talk to myself in my head like, chill a minute.
Yeah.
Because like, if you're in a frantic state and you're not able to think, that's more dangerous than being in the frantic state a lot of times, you know what I mean?
I think it's self-talk too, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you get in those holes and you're like, your mind starts fucking going against you. You know what I mean? Like, fuck no, you're fucking up, like this is, you piece of shit, you can't be doing this, you know what I mean? And it's recognizing that and then changing it. Being like, no, I'm not. I'm fucking...
Yeah.
I had that happen to me one time. I was duck hunting early in the morning. You get there dark, set up before, sunrise, be ready for the ducks to come in. And I had my shotgun and my shooting bag, and then I had a sack full of decoys on the back of me. And I had my waders on, and we had to cross the Platte River. Which, if you don't hunt and you don't really pay attention to the river in the winter, it changes and things move differently, and it's faster, and the water rises sometimes, and it's just a lot different. Things you wouldn't notice about it unless you were in that situation. And it was a little high, and we shouldn't have crossed, but we made, everybody's like, fuck it, let's do it. And I remember fighting, so the river's running this way, and we're sidestepping across this way.
At an angle, diagonally?
So you're keeping your face to the pressure. And I remember misstepping one time, and the decoys on the back were floater decoys, and they floated.
Oh shit.
And I remember in that moment thinking to myself, if you don't step forward right now, me, I'm 6 foot tall, my waders come up above my nip line. They're pretty tall. And the water was just inches below that. So you got to put yourself in that perspective, moving sideways. But I remember as soon as I took that step, I misstepped and it took me back because the decoys were floating. I told myself in my head, if you don't step forward, you're going to die right now. Luckily I stepped forward and I was able to keep moving, and that was when I yelled back to the guy, I'm like, don't bring your dog through, and you guys might want to walk down river and find a shallower spot. But yeah, those instances you don't think about or that you've been in.
Well, it's morning, but it's dark.
It was dark morning, sun's not out yet.
Yeah, fuck that.
We have headlamps on and
that'd be terrifying.
You
see the stars?
You have a headlamp on, and you have all your gear, and you're weighted down, and then your mobility is less because you're wearing waders, and however many layers. I mean, this was the coldest part of the winter here in Colorado. It was probably January. It was close to negatives, probably in the negatives. I don't remember exactly.
What's crazy is the water's always warmer though. It's weird.
Is duck that good?
Duck down and get you some,
Yeah. Duck meat? I've never had duck meat.
It's pretty good. There's different ways to cook it and things like that, but I enjoy duck. Goose is a little more bloodier meat. Kind of I don't know.
Irony?
Yeah. I like to make jerky out of it, or if you sliced it thin and made fajitas or something like that, it's more of a...
Some goose fajitas?
Yeah.
Exotic.
I gotta get a guard goose. Protect my chicks.
That's right. Geese are mean.
Yeah, they are very mean.
I've been around domestic geese, farm geese. They're mean. I've hunted and shot a goose, wounded it, maybe shot it in the wing, and you got to go out there. And those fucking geese will fuck you up, dude. They're strong. I've seen dogs get attacked by geese.
They don't fuck around.
You send your dog's pumped to go retrieve the bird for you, and those goose will fuck your dog up. You gotta have. There's some dogs though that just steamroll these geese. Just.
Run their asses
yeah. I don't know, but yeah, I've.
You going hunting?
I haven't been hunting in probably coming on 2 years now.
I was just telling Doug I want to get my hunter safety, so then.
Me and you be in a class like Billy Madison.
You can do it online.
No, we should go into a class.
Yeah, you guys should do it in a class.
Because he'd be knocked out. He's knocking out.
It's not just kids. Grown people do it too.
I know, it'd be funny if there's a bunch of kids.
And
it'd be funny.
My thing is like, especially if you are interested in owning a firearm, I think it's important for you to have like, be well educated about it, how to handle it safely, how to protect, you know, it at home, especially with children, have it locked up, have it in a safe place. If you're using it for protection, be able to have it locked, maybe in one of those boxes. They make boxes where like it reads your fingerprint, so you could technically leave the gun in there,
loaded
with ammunition, and if you need it as an intruder or something. But like my biggest thing is everybody's like, "Oh, I got a gun." Well, I was raised around guns my whole life. I've seen a few accidents as well.
Yeah, two,
couple more. Some people are more careless. I tend to choose the people I hunt with to be the more safer people. If I go hunting with somebody and I have a bad experience, or I'm around somebody that isn't safe, I'll choose not to go with them again, or, you know, even leave.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen safe people, bad things happen in that too. But it's all about like knowing how to handle the gun safely, not only for yourself but other people, especially when it comes to like a pistol. You know, a rifle, you're here and it takes a lot to point it around. A pistol, you can literally drop it right here on the floor and it could go 360 different ways, you know what I mean? And it's just, you know, unloading, cleaning procedures, and like the hunter safety course that I took at a young age was a very good one, and it taught you a lot of safety things, which I thought was very important. Not only safety, but like how to shoot a gun, also like tracking blood. So like as a hunter, you know, there are people out there that probably just want to shoot animals, and that's like how they, you know, they're very careless, right? We've all heard a story, oh yeah, we hopped out, shot, blah, blah, blah.
Or shot from a truck or something like that.
Something you're not supposed to do. But like for me, trying to be an ethic hunter, I like to, you know, if I'm going deer hunting, I've learned from experience. I've wounded an animal that I've had to track down and reshoot. And it's something that changes your life, because if you really care about the animal and hunting and the sport of hunting, you want to make an ethical shot. Not only because it's easier for you to extract the animal most times, it also, you know, I'm not there to make that animal suffer. I'm there for food, for the experience, making memories with family, tradition. You know, that's how all of our ancestors used to have food, was hunting. And, you know, no matter who you are, what you do, your family's, at some point, they've hunted in some way or somehow, foraged and gathered food to survive. And, you know, a lot of people in, you know, maybe our grandparents' era and things like that, a lot of people depended on hunting for a source of food. Like, they didn't have the extra money to buy beef, you know, so elk or deer or antelope was a good source of food. They depended on that elk every year to do it. So, like, my family's always been hunting, fishing, sportsmen. And, you know, not only is it fun to do all that, but it's fun to teach the next generation, like, the skill of it. And, you know, some are better than others. You know, some spend more time in the field, some don't. But, like, for me, it's very important. Like, if I'm going deer hunting, that whole summer at least, if I'm shooting a rifle, I take it to the range that whole summer. And I make sure that, you know, my gear's on point, everything's ready. So that way, when I do approach an animal or I'm hunting an area and I have an opportunity for a shot, that I can make an ethical shot. And sometimes there's questionable shots, and you need to be able to determine if it's worth taking or not. And, you know, I have gotten into archery. I've never archery hunted yet, but as far as like target practice, 3D targets, things like that, that's a whole nother skill. I've shot rifles and shotguns my whole life, but like that's something I feel like you need to take very serious, because just a slight flinch or a slight movement or anything with a bow changes the outcome of where it hits drastically. But it's all about being safe and making sure like people beyond you are safe too. Know your surroundings, pay attention. You know, even at a shooting range, you know, it gets crazy. I've been shooting in like open like BLM land, open land, national forest where you could shoot.
Black Lives Matter lands.
And,
that's for their money went.
That's for their money went.
And you know,
not according to the taxes.
You'll be shooting at your target ahead of you, and then you'll drive a mile down the road and you'll see somebody shooting this way.
So you guys are shooting at each other.
Yeah, well, basically, like when you go out to get your target.
Yeah.
So that's something that, like, just over the years, I've had good training and experiences to know what to look for. And guns aren't for everybody. Some people are not responsible enough to have them. Some people are mentally able to have them. And sometimes even people that are mentally able and responsible, sometimes bad things happen to those people too. But the more you train and drill and have experience and practice safety, just like anything else, you know, the better off it is. So, but I mean, if you definitely are interested in hunting or even wanted to go hunting without having your license and not carry a gun, but be there for the experience, I still think it's worth going. Like my girlfriend, for instance, she has no desire to shoot an animal, but the experiences you get out in the wild and the things you see and the things you come across and the fun, the camaraderie, everything.
Sure, the peacefulness.
It is peaceful. A lot of times, you know, there's times where you're sitting by yourself for a while, or you have a few buddies and it's a good time to get together and you know, everybody's kind of on a mission to find, you know, an animal, and depending on how you hunt, you walk in or tree stand or you're shooting out of a blind or whatever it is, different kinds of hunting, you know.
Back of an ATV?
No.
Not in this state, but there are places where you can.
We go down to Texas.
Texas has a little bit different rules.
I think it's like I think it's one thing that like guys are missing out on now. I think as guys get older, I think a lot of guys like struggle having like guy friends, you know, especially once you get into like life and having kids and then having a job and then having your kids have activities and stuff, you know. And I think one of the things that guys miss out on is that camaraderie. Because I think from the beginning of time, for the most part, guys have been, I'm sure there's always exceptions, but guys have been mostly the hunters. You know what I mean? Going out to kill shit and bring
guys' nights were always lit. You know what I mean? Since the tales of time. You know what I mean? Guys' night is the boys. You know what I mean?
The boys together.
There's nothing better than the boys and then just hanging out, talking shit to each other and everything else. You know what I mean?
And I really feel like guys like need that. You know what I mean? Like just fucking kicking the shit and fucking just bullshitting. You know what I mean? About nothing. Nothing matters. Just being in the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think guys miss out on having that group camaraderie, especially as we get older in life. So I think we have it a lot as like sports and stuff as kids, and a little bit as we get older, but it kind of does dissipate. The happiest guys are those they talk about in old age. It's those dudes at the fucking VFW and shit, all chilling, telling fucking old war stories about it to each other.
Even if it's just like a round of golf or
yeah.
You know, if you don't like hunting, maybe even fishing, you know, or if you don't like that, maybe go camping with your friends, you know, I mean.
If you don't have time for that, maybe just tune into Two Guys, One Shed,
That's
where
right.
you have
all the guys you need right here.
All the guy time you need. Tune in.
But, I mean, there is a lot of stress in life, and one of those things that I've been listening to is like try to take time for yourself too. It's hard, and especially the more responsibilities you take on. You know, whether it's wife, kids, house, bills, job. You know, there's been a lot of times my job hasn't given me a lot of opportunity to have extra time for things. And one of my good friends at work, he told me this. He goes, "Nobody has time. You have to make time." And it's true. It's true. Even at work, like, I don't have time to clean my work truck out or whatever. I need to go over here and fix this. Well, yeah, they want that fixed, but nobody has time. You gotta make time. And that's something that, it's a saying. There's only a few sayings that stick with me, but that's something that has definitely stuck with me. Because I could be like, hey guys, you want to go, let's do a guys camping trip, get all the boys together. Oh, I can't, I got this, or oh, I can't, I got that. Obviously you try to plan it ahead of time so everybody can clear up their calendar.
Yeah.
But I do, and there are some exceptions, but I do think if you put the effort in to make the time to do something, there's definitely an opportunity for you to do that. So that's something I try to consider too. Is like, you may not have the time, but sometimes you have to make the time to actually make it happen.
I think especially too if you want to like have like a hobby or some shit like that, you have to make the time for that shit. You can't just you can't just like expect it to come like, oh, I'll just do it when I have time. Like it's never gonna come. You have to make an effort. I think that's what you say, making time. Like you have to make an effort to do things that you want to get done.
Yeah, it may not be priority or the number one thing that you need to be doing at the time, but sometimes it's important just to...
Like making clips for the podcast. Like, I don't want to fucking have to do that shit, but I need to. I know I need to. I'm trying, guys. We're getting more out there.
Well, it becomes a lot of work, too. Like you said, you go through the whole process, and it ends up being hours and hours and hours of
When you motherfucking time. Jamie, dog. Real Jamie.
And
we're gonna try to get a
Calvin Garcia's.
What is that? H1 visa from Mexico. Get someone down here, ship them in just so they can give an immigrant a job just so they can
They can do it from home in Mexico.
Yeah, that's true. Remote work.
Remote work.
I'll send it to them. Take like 18 hours for it to get there.
Downloading.
No, but for real, yeah, it's a hard thing to find time and make time. I think that's the hardest thing too.
Yeah.
I feel like people lose that, like the ability to prioritize.
I think especially when people get into relationships, like you start giving so much like effort and time to your significant other that you kind of forget about what do I do for fun? You know what I mean? Not what do we do for fun, which is important. What you do together, spend most of your time, it's important, but you each need individual like fun time,
I agree.
And not just tugging one out in the corner, when you have an extra 15. That's not me time. It's not the me time we're talking about. This isn't episode 28.
Just to keep that stamina up, You need that on-the-job experience.
On-the-job experience.
Shit's pretty good right there.
I know, but it's stinking here, dude. You imagine how stinky this shit would be?
Just put ammonia, I don't know.
I'll tell you, it would be ammonia. Just reek of fucking a pool water in here.
Just make a urea factory back there.
Once a week.
I've been holding it. I think we're gonna take pee breaks.
Oh, dude, I have to, because if not... And when Doug has to pee, he has to fucking pee. I'm surprised he even holds it.
I've been training myself to hold it. I'm not that good yet. What happened to that?
What?
The Colorado thing.
It fell off and then it broke.
My nipples are harder than my dick.
You're right.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a joke, but I couldn't remember who it was.
No. The dick's like Jesus, or what?
No.
Damn! See?
Pressure.
I thought you were still going.
Are you going out or are you staying in?
Oh. Mr. B says click-through rate is everything. Ours ain't bad, so.
Really?
Yeah, ours is always good.
That's all that matters.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I love that guy. I love that guy.
Always average or above average.
He has Crohn's disease. Did you know that?
What? No.
Yeah. It's a thing. Something to do with the stomach where you shit and stuff.
Is that why he looks like that?
Is that why he looks like that?
I don't know why he looks like that. He was offered $1 billion for his channel.
Really?
But I was watching this other
I saw that video
analyst,
too. Yeah.
and he was saying like all the channels that he has.
Just with the commercial
base, he generates over.
Because he asked for, what did we say, like 17 billion or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like yeah.
He's like, I would never sell it for anything under 17 billion. And then the analyst did like everything else. He's like spot on. Like that's a fair price.
Because he was talking about like the way they've been able to advance it to foreign countries, and they have like a professional translating.
Yeah, they dub everything.
Like he has that company too that does that, and he like the cool part about it is this guy's smart and able to think above of what
the norm is.
Yes, because we're all on the page of what we see every day, right?
Yeah.
The news, social media, the newspaper, what's on TV, shows. We're all manipulated by that, and he's able to think ahead of what's going to happen. So for him to be able to think like, oh, if we expand into a foreign country, okay, we need somebody to be able to translate it accurately. Okay, well, why don't we start a company that does that? And then like he's generating like more wealth, and like he always says that he takes the money from his videos and reinvests it back in. Like I'm sure he makes money now, but like for the most part, he
says that he lives like in just a regular house now.
Same way we're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have jobs and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Elon Musk, when he was on Joe Rogan, he was talking about how he lives in a small, it was like 1,400 square foot house in Texas.
I've seen it. You can look up the address. It's right next to the SpaceX in Texas. And his mom has to stay in the garage.
Yeah, they made like a little.
It's like a two bedroom house.
But they have some bomb ass Mexican food down there.
It's by like
It's like on the border.
Yeah.
It's in the valley. So that's where like my family's from, but not there.
Oh wow.
It's like down deep South Texas.
Yeah,
Cameron County.
But for those of you people that don't know, Doug, he
He's gonna do this. Why you put me on blast?
He defeats a lot of things. You know what I mean? He's defeated
procrastination.
He's defeated procrastination. He's defeated
Zelda.
Yeah, that's a hard defeat.
Mario Kart.
The end of 2 campaign.
Nope.
Not yet.
No.
The old one.
Oh yeah, OG.
But Doug also to the belt. You know what I mean? He's defeated cancer. You know what I mean?
Take a drink to that, huh, Doug?
Once.
I'll drink to that one.
I don't know. My doctor should be seeing this. I've been drinking him down. But
cheers, though. For real though, like Doug, he's defeated male breast cancer.
Dang. It took us almost 3 episodes to get that out. 3 full episodes.
I mean, Doug, let's talk about it. But I just wanted to bring it up. Like it's a big thing. And I know it was a hard time for Dougie.
How long ago was that?
2018, I think I was diagnosed.
19.
Was it 19?
Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. Lucky for you.
Well, it was like right as COVID hit, so like when I'd go to my treatments at first, I could bring people.
I went one time.
So like my treatments were like 7 hours sometimes. And I would have to do them every 3 weeks. So I'd go in the morning, I'd be like one of the first people there. And the day before, you get your blood drawn so they know like everything's good and you're healthy enough to like take the next treatment. And then you'd be there all day, and like if you brought somebody, it was fun. You could like, I mean, it wasn't fun, but it was more enjoyable, I guess is the way I'd put it. You could conversate with them, and then you get into conversations with other people, around. Some people don't want to talk. Some people just want to sleep. A lot of times everybody's sick, right? I mean, some people would go in for infusions for different things like iron deficiency and other ailments. But I did meet a lot of other cancer patients as well, and you go in there and you're there like all day, and then there's like a timer on a machine where they put the medicine on the rack, and they pump you full of fluids first, and then it's a whole process. They just keep switching out the bags, and then when you're done, you know, you go home and deal with the rest.
So what was the difference pre-COVID and then as COVID started?
So when COVID hit, it was like that when COVID. You could bring a guest with you, and if you wanted more than one guest, you could tell them ahead of time, and there was like these rooms, more private rooms. And like say if I were to bring you two guys, I would probably get a room so that way.
Doing all kinds of homoerotic shit in there.
There'd be some crazy.
The nurses be peeking.
But post non-COVID, right when COVID hit, I couldn't bring anybody up there. So I'd have to sit there all day by myself. And, you know, like I said, some of the other patients, they don't want to talk. You know, they're dealing with their own shit, whether it's their health, their mental health. Some people will talk, you know, and being 28 at the time and going through chemotherapy, a lot of people are old. Like, for real, like, I mean, I would talk to some older ladies and, you know, what do you do? What, you know, do you got a wife? Do you got a girlfriend? And then you just talk to them and they kind of tell you stories as well and just get through it. But it was, I don't know, I had my ups and downs, you know. I tried to be super positive about the whole thing. But yeah, COVID times was odd for me. And that was actually like post-surgery too. So I had surgery right before COVID in December. And then
in March, that's when or February, March, that's when it like hit, huh?
So I'd have to go through and get my infusions like by myself. It was boring. I'd sleep most of the time, or I'd take my Nintendo Switch and play games for a while, but that gets boring too. And I took my my dad, my mom, some friends, you know, in the first few. But then after that, you know, not being able to take anybody, it was kind of lame. And then yeah, basically with my treatment, they started chemotherapy and that to shrink the cancer cells. And then they did the surgery, which they did a lumpectomy instead of a. What can I think of it?
The lymph node, or
no? They cut off the whole breast.
Or they cut the boobie out.
Oh, mastectomy.
Yeah, it's mastectomy.
Yeah.
So they did that, and then after that, I healed up. Still taking treatments every 3 weeks, and then I went through a series of radiation treatments every single day. And that will that burns your skin. Like, you gotta put stuff on your skin because it dries out and it's like sunburn but worse.
How do they inject you? Just like with a needle or?
So pre-treatment, I have a scar on my chest and then one on my neck, and they put a port in my chest. So usually it's on their right side. But since my cancer was on my right side and they didn't want to make any complications over here, they put it on the left side and then it like ran up my neck and then back down into my heart. So like they're very careful when they like they call it accessing your port. It's a very cleanly process because essentially if any infection or any debris or anything bad happens, it goes directly to your heart, you know. So basically they use a pump to pump the treatment into your port, which goes into your heart, which your heart pumps it to your body, right? I mean, that's essentially it. And I don't know, there's different symptoms for different treatments. I would have to do like 4 bags of treatments and they would give me hydration, which is just saline. And then the next day I would come in for a booster shot for, I don't know if it was my immune system or it was part of one of the treatments, I don't remember. And I would do that every 3 weeks, and then like, first few days you'd be okay, and then like, for 2 weeks you'd be sick. nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, super sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine the worst flu you've ever had, times it by some more, and then every single day for 2 weeks straight.
Jesus.
And then right as you kind of start feeling good again, and you can kind of keep food down, you have another treatment.
Yeah, I remember you'd be like, "Fuck, I gotta go
back through it again.
and
Do it
Doug
again,
would say that like,
do
"I
it
gotta go
again.
back into my."
And do it again. And the thing is like some people deal with it differently, dude. There's people that, you know, had a harder time dealing with it than I did. I think I responded to everything well. Everything went great. Some people, the process doesn't work for them. You know, it just depends on how far along you are, what stage of cancer you have.
So was that the worst part, the flu? Like symptoms or
Man,
the worst than flu?
I think it was just, there's a lot of things going on. Basically, like, your body's weak, and it continues to get weaker the more treatments you get because you never get time to recover. And then, obviously, like, my hair started falling out, and I knew it was coming, right? And I remember, like, waking up and feeling hair on the back of my neck and just, like, give you, like, the heebie-jeebies, you know?
It's on you.
And I just went into the bathroom and shaved it off with a razor, or not a razor, but like just trimmers, just so it would be like less. And I was like, I knew I was gonna go bald, so like, what's the point?
It's crazy how pale you got.
Yeah, all the pigment in my skin, I was pure white. My eyelashes fell out, my eyebrows.
I was looking at the pictures
That's
of Theo Vaughn. I was like, holy.
Yeah.
That was like in what, January?
That shit.
February?
Yeah.
I was pure white. And the thing is like, I feel like I started out strong mentally, right? Like, oh, we got this, you know? And then as you're going deeper and deeper and deeper into it, like it's hard. It gets harder. Mentally even. Physically and mentally. But then when you turn pale white and you have no hair and like people notice you, like obviously, right? You see something off about somebody at Walmart or wherever you're at, you like kind of, what's going on over there? And that was something I started to notice, and that would mess with me. And I remember the feeling of not feeling normal. Like watching people look at me different. And for somebody that's never felt that way, it was hard. It was a hard thing. And then, you know, the stresses of the treatments, being sick, you kind of, if you knew you were going to get sick, there'd be days I wouldn't eat for like 4 days. Just because I got tired of vomiting or going to the bathroom, you know. And a lot of times it would hit me at night, so like in the day I could be functional, and at night I'd just stay up all night long having to go to the restroom. Like I would go to the restroom, come back, lay down in my bed. By the time I laid there for like a minute, I'd have to get up and run to the bathroom again. Like it was just constant. Some days were better than others. I'd get nosebleeds out of nowhere.
And that was right when you came back from Saipan, right?
Yeah, I came back from Saipan, and then it was like, I went to the doctor to get some blood work done, and then I told him about the lump, and then they're like, oh, it's probably just like gynecomastia or whatever, you know, you're a larger male, there's fatty cells, it could have just made a cyst or a lump there. But I'll check it out, and she felt it, and she's like, I think we should definitely get a mammogram and an ultrasound. So I went in, got the screening done, and the doctor's like, we'd like to see you next week. Let's do a biopsy. They did the biopsy, and I'm still working, like I'm doing my job, working.
Doug's not working like any like reg. He's not like a 9 to 5 job. It's Doug's working a lot of hours still and everything else before all this.
So did you feel any different, or was it just the lump?
I felt the lump, but I had felt the lump for.
Yeah, Doug was telling me about it too. He told me about it, and.
But like you didn't feel any different. It was just the lump that
Right.
was. You could feel it growing.
Right. Like I knew I had a lump there. Didn't know. I noticed it one day when I got out of the shower. I don't remember when, but it was a significant amount of time before, at least a year before. And I never really said nothing. I just kind of kept an eye on it myself. And a lot of the side effects are like your nipple gets like puffy, or blood or pus comes out of it, but like none of that happened for me. I just had the lump, and it, you know, was still there. And I was like, man, I'm getting blood work done. I was in like an island I worked on for like 9 months. We were eating a lot of raw fish and sushi and stuff. And there was guys that had warned me, like, go to the doctor when you get back, get your blood work done, and just make sure, like, you know, everything's good, because there's different parasites and things with eating raw meat and stuff. So I'm like, okay, you know, that's a smart move. So I went ahead and did that, and when I was there, I said, by the way, I have this lump in my breast. And she was like, okay. She checked it out. Like I said, we went and did the mammogram, ultrasound. They called me back for a biopsy, got that done. And then I was at work, and I received a call from this lady. She's like, this is so-and-so at the Cancer Center of Colorado here at Platte Valley Medical Center. I was like, okay, cool. And she was like, I was just trying to get your email and some information from you. I want to send you, like, some links to some support groups. And you know, she's listing off a bunch of stuff. I'm like, okay, weird. And then she's like, I'm here to answer any questions that you have. You know, like, I'm here for you. I'm like, okay. And I let her, like, do her, like, spiel, you know. She's telling me the whole thing. And I'm like, okay. At the end of it, I'm like, I got a question. She's like, yeah. I said, well, how bad is this? And she's like, oh my God, nobody's told you anything yet? And I'm like, no. And she's, like, stuttering and nervous, right? And I just tell her, I'm like, man, just cut it to me straight. Like, you don't have to sugarcoat it. Just give it to me straight on. I feel like sometimes news, I'm better with it, just cut and dry.
Yeah,
like, just
give it to
let
me.
me have it.
Yeah.
She's like, well, your cells did come back positive for cancer. We're doing some more testing on it right now, trying to determine whether it's something we could just treat with, like, a chemotherapy pill for a short amount of time, maybe do the surgery and be done, or if you actually have to do treatments, radiation, the whole nine. So it was like asymptomatic, I don't know, it was like A positive, B positive, I don't remember all the terms, the medical terms. But I was like, something HER2 positive, something negative, and that's what indicated that chemotherapy, surgery, and radiation would be the best way to treat it. So then after that, I think I called my mom and dad. I let them know, like, hey, I have breast cancer, you know, this is going down. And I'm working still, and not really knowing what to expect, I guess. And you just went in, and I talked to her. Then my doctor called me, and I was like, hey, you know, they found I had cancer. I'm like, yeah, I already found out. So it was like fucked up. Like, he was supposed to call me first.
Yeah, you're like,
big
I
setup.
fucking know.
So then, like, that was when they started setting up appointments to, like, go get my DNA tested.
Ancestry?
It's a little different, but yeah, they test your genetics to see if it's a genetic mutation or not. And they want a family tree of history of cancers on both sides, and they draw your blood. And one thing about having cancer or any kind of treatment like that is they're gonna draw your blood everywhere you go. And I hated needles. I don't love them now, but I used to feel like, as a kid, my brother used to have to do, like, it's called gestational diabetes testing, because my mom had, like, it's called the gestational diabetes when she was pregnant with my brother. Something with their sugar was messed up. So
that's really dangerous.
Yeah,
that's really
so
dangerous.
they were like, they always tested Ruger as a kid. Well, obviously my mom would take me and my brother, and they'd want to test my blood too, and I'd be like hiding under chairs. Like, I hated needles. And my veins have always been hard to find. One, being a bigger guy, two, like, that's just, they hide, bro. And
they hide.
I would hide under that chair. I'd hate it. So then, like, now you're a grown man, and you're like going to all these appointments and getting stabbed all the time. And then, like I said, they put the port in, started chemo treatments, worked through that. They put the port in, we went and talked to the surgeon. And the surgeon told me, she goes, we could do this one of two ways. We could do the surgery first and then treat the chemo after, or we could do it vice versa. And I looked at her, my mom and dad are there. And she cussed. She said a cuss word in the middle of it. My mom just looked at me and goes, "This is your doctor. Like, we're not changing doctors. Like, she's legit." And I was sitting there, and she's telling me all the options and how we want to do it. I just stopped and went, "Listen, I'm a heavy equipment mechanic. Like, if your car breaks or your truck's broken or your tractor, you call me and I diagnose it and I try to fix it the best of my ability the way I know how." I said, "I know nothing about this. This is your job. What do you recommend we do?" Because some people choose different routes and things like that. And she's just like, "Okay, this is what we're going to do." And for me to give her that freedom and put it in that analogy, I think really is what made it. She was the best surgeon I've had. And I've only had like 2 or 3 procedures of surgery, but most professional, very awesome lady. And so she gets me taken care of. We get it all set up. Start chemo, doing chemo, feeling sick, going through all that. Physical strain, mental strain. And then as we got into December, I think it was December
19.
No, it was January 14th was my surgery. We get into December, it's like the last treatment before surgery. And I start feeling stressed, there's a lot of different things going through my mind. One, there's some issues with the financing of this whole thing and the way we did some of the procedure. My insurance kept kicking the procedures we'd already done. So I got like 7 rounds of chemo that my insurance kicked. And most people are like, "Oh yeah, I got a $100,000 hospital bill." Well, some of these are like upwards of $2,000, $100,000 treatments. Like the bill was over $1 million that they had kicked.
They sent to you.
And and before you go through this, you talk to the finance lady. They go through your insurance if you have it, or you talk about
if it's
it.
covered and network
and find out what's part of it. And from my understanding, out of pocket had to be paid and everything else was covered. And we're like, okay. So I get to that point. Well, that booster shot I would get the day after my chemotherapy. My insurance was saying that I needed to administer it myself after my treatment. Well, when I talked to them, they're like, "You could either do it at home or you could come in and do it." Well, me not liking needles, I'm like, "I'd rather you guys just do the shot real quick and I can go home." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an extra trip, but I don't want to inject myself. Like, no, thank you. So that was some strain going on too, and then you hear a lot of stories about people that have cancer and going for surgery, and then as soon as they do the procedure or cut, they find more cancer or it spreads. So there's some stress going on there too.
Yeah, you never know what happened. They don't know until they cut you open.
Right, that's really when they know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm stressed out about that, whatever. I kind of get over that. I'm going through some rough times. A lot of mental and emotional stress there. Come into January, get my surgery. I go in. My aunt flies into town. My mom and dad's there. I think my brother's, he might be working, but he's still in the picture, around. We go into the hospital. Everybody's in the waiting room with me. And this is pre-COVID. Luckily, I can have my family there and everything.
Right before, huh?
Yeah. And
days.
I go in there. You do the pre-screening shit, weight, height, blood. They get your IV started in my port, which is easier. Honestly, if you ever have a port and there's a certified nurse to access it, do that if you have hard veins to poke, because they feel it. There's 3 dots on it. They feel it and they can poke it, and it's
everything's there.
A lot of nurses don't like to access it because of the risks of infection and things like that, but I preferred it for myself because I've had people miss on this arm, go back and forth, change nurses.
It's the worst when they miss. And
you said that they even had that vein thing that finds your vein.
They have a vein finder, a handheld one, and then I've actually had a miniature ultrasound machine for them to find my vein. So I've gone through this process a lot, and Go into surgery, laying on the bed. Surgeon comes in. She meets my aunt. Well, my aunt's kind of a high-strung lady. And my aunt loved this lady. Like, just instantly felt safer. Like, everything was good. She goes, this is what's going to happen. Lady's going to come in, give you a shot. You are going to be radioactive for 24 hours after the shot. Okay. Weird, right? But I guess they can, like, track the radiation. So your breast drained to your lymph nodes in your armpit. Well, they put the radiation at the spot and track it to see if the cancer is, like, draining to your lymph nodes. So they bring it in. This lady's like in a coat, and this other lady's with her, and she has like gloves, like crazy shit. And there's this box she's carrying. And it looks heavy, but it's only like that big. And she opens it, and it's lead.
Oh shit!
It's like wood,
It's
lead, and then they open it, and it's a metal syringe, like old school metal syringe, full of radioactive. They give me the shot. I think in the area. I don't remember. It's been a while. It might have been in the IV. I don't remember. And they leave. But like before they left, like we felt the box, and me and my dad were like, "Holy shit! Like this thing's heavy," you know. So they do that, and then one of nurses comes in. You know, they give you like that pre-medicine. You kind of get feeling sleepy. So I'm like dozing in and out. And then I go into the room and count down, boom, out, wake up, recovery. Everything's good, I'm doing good, and when I get home, I gotta go home like the same day, I think. Yeah. And my whole chest and everything's just bruised, black and blue from the surgery, the strain, everything. So they cut my nipple almost like all the way off. And then there's an incision over here where they pulled lymph nodes out to take to pathology to see if there was cancer in those. Those came back negative, which is good. And she was able to get all the cancer out. And then after that process, I met with the radiation doctor. Started in with that. Did radiation for, I think, just under 2 months. Usually it's 2, but I was able to get away with a little bit less time. And then continued on with hormonal infusion treatments. So it wasn't like all the chemo medicines, it was like half of them throughout the next year, which they don't make you as sick or anything like that. And then I'd go in like every month, and then it's been every 3 months, and now it's every 6 months, and kind of go in and they monitor you and make sure you're doing okay. I'm on like a anti-hormonal drug because my cancer was fused by like my hormones, and so I'm on a pill that I'll be on for probably another 2 years, maybe up to another 8, depending on what they determine at the end. And yeah, just went through that whole process.
Hey, just let you guys know that surgeon sewed Doug's nipples upside down.
Yeah, it's a little crooked. But
if you want to see the nipple episode, what is it? What is it?
My OnlyFans.
No, they've seen the nipple.
Yeah, Fantasy Football League episode 24.
Hashtag cricknip.
Hey, just look for the thumbnail. You'll see Dougie.
But yeah, then it's just been a.
Because they cut both sides off, right?
No.
Or just one nipple. Just one nipple. Yeah.
If they would have done a mastectomy, where they took the whole.
They just cut it and then just.
Breast out, they would have done a double mastectomy.
So what are the what's the percentage that men have breast cancer?
It's kind of growing from what I've been reading, but one of the things that I originally read was less than 1% of males have breast cancer, and then it was a combined of the type that I had was actually even rarer than that, and then the age that I had.
Oh shit!
Because mainly like older males, late 50s, 60s, they get breast cancer. But
so it's pretty rare under 30.
Yeah, it's definitely rare for a male under 30 years old to have cancer.
It says male breast cancer counts for less than 1% of all breast cancer.
When Doug called me on vacation, I was like,
about 1 in 833 men will develop breast cancer in their lifetime.
It's like, what's the talk calling me on vacation right now? What's going on? On a midday on a Tuesday?
So, you know, it's weird. I feel like in my younger years, like I wouldn't pay attention that my body was telling me things.
Yeah.
And I think the more in tune you are with your body, the more it tells you that something's going wrong. And if you're willing to listen to that and not just party and raise hell and be
party through it. And
well, you were going hard when you were
inside.
no, when he was going through chemo, because you were still working out and shit.
Oh yeah,
like,
Doug was working out.
Like you were still pushing your body and shit.
Yeah, I think
so that could have been easy with all the fucking.
I think that helped me a lot, and I've kind of lost track of that, and I need to be a better person and realize like how lucky I am to have the opportunity to still take care of myself. And that's one of those things that goes back to like where I don't have time, but you need to make time.
Right. Yeah.
And hold yourself accountable. I mean, even if it's just doing the little things. And right now, I haven't been doing the little things, and I was holding myself accountable. But I felt like I was driving myself so hard at that point, and even beyond that, that it made it undesirable for me to do. So when the opportunity came that I got lazy on myself and I did it, it's harder for me to get back into it. But even in the last month and a half, I've been, my girlfriend and I have been trying to eat healthier, eat more on a keto plan, more vegetables, more fruits, be mindful of the fruits that you eat and the carbohydrates and just, like I told her, I've done so many things so many times that it's been hard because I pushed myself so hard at the beginning, and I could sustain it for a while, but then mentally I break, and then it's hard for me to get back on track. So for me to be able to hold myself more accountable, I feel like if I do it at my own pace, and I'm able to sustain something that's consistent, I'll have a better result. And that's the idea I have right now. I don't know. I mean, I've had professional help, I've had training, I've had, diet help, a lot of things. It's just, this is how it is. I mean, you're gonna get out of your body what you put into it, right? I mean, that's honestly what humans are finding out today.
You you got to find out what works for you too, though. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like everyone's literally different, so you got to figure out what works for you the best.
And then like people would always be like, "Man, it's crazy you have cancer. Like, horrible to have cancer." But my mindset was always, what better time to have it than now? People look at me.
Then to be able to fight it off and everything else.
Well, I mean, one, I'm younger. You could look at it that way, but I'm looking at like the technology of medicine. There's a lot of criticism towards medicine, and there's other opportunities, which I agree. But nobody knows it. That's why it's the study of medicine. But the thing is like when you go into a surgeon like I did, you sit down with her, she explains the severity of what you have and what's going on and what they're going to do to fix it. And she tells you, 10 years ago, I got it when I was 28, so 10 years ago I would have been 18. If I would have got that cancer when I was 18, there was a 0 survival rate.
Jesus.
Dang.
So just in 10 years, they found ways to improve and treat the kind of cancer I had.
That's wild.
So I understand the importance of that, and I felt like it was something that wasn't under my control, and the people that were in charge of it I was able to trust. And I don't know if it's because I was kind of backed in the corner, like you have no option. I mean, you got,
Yeah.
But I think I grew up a lot in that aspect of like, these people are here to help you.
Yeah.
And
medicine gets a lot of criticism now because it's so specialized. But in like your instance, like it was a benefit of how specialized it was because I'm sure she was an expert in that particular area. You know what I mean?
Well, and like as I talked to her and my radiologist, I think is the term, my radiation person, my oncologist, my surgeon, all these people had gone to meetings about me outside of what I knew about.
They were talking about you. They were talking to other people and saying, we need to figure
Doug's
this
a dick.
out.
Like, we need to figure out switch him hospitals. He's being rude to everybody.
No, so like it's like a network of doctors And they all communicate.
That's what Doug was saying. Like, people knew Doug's name.
Yeah,
people
like,
know Doug's name across the United States and maybe even over the world because Doug was like his cancer was so rare at that time, and him being so young and everything else.
Like, when I was Googling it, I could only ever find like one guy around my age that had it.
Oh shit.
Now, I'm not saying that that's the only thing, because
Yeah.
I know there's other people out there, and a lot of people don't want to be open about it or talk about it. I've always tried to be able to talk about it with anybody and understand where they're going from. And then, but like my radiologist, before I even met him, he knew who I was, because he had sat through lectures and things that my surgeon had put on, about me. And, I go into the imaging place, and all those ladies know me by name because they're used to screening like women for breast cancer and all this
Oh,
and that.
shit.
And like I roll up in there and like, hey, you're back again, how's it going,
I went in with Doug one time, and it was like he was famous. Like, everyone was just walking up to him, talking to him and shit. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, when you go to a place enough, you become a part of the environment. Like, even the pharmacist, Justin, shout out. I'd always talk to him too. And one of the things that did affect me the most is the main lady that I talked to on the phone at the beginning that told me, like, oh, nobody's told you yet. I really liked her. She did a great job. She left. Shortly after, my oncologist left, so I got another one. Shortly after that, the two main nurses that were in the office that did my treatment, they were cool, they were fun, they made it fun, they were about my age, like, good environment, maybe a little younger, super cool chicks. And I remember being there one night late, and I was the only one left. And I was just like, man, they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know, this is just weird, like, everybody's leaving. Like, these are the people that are taking care of me and they're, like, in charge of it. And, like, I'm in the middle of this and they're leaving, like, moving on in their careers. And, I'm kind of selfish at that point. Like, what about me?
I'm still here, yeah.
And because I felt so comfortable with those people. And I was like, you guys aren't leaving, are you? And the one girl's like, no, I'll always be here. And the other one didn't say anything. And she was the one that was, like, the most fun to hang out with her. She was cool. She was very high energy. Like, kept the
vibe's good.
Yeah, in the room, like, she kept everybody going. And she came up to me and gave me a hug. And that's when I knew she was leaving. She never told me.
Yeah.
But I never saw her again.
Dang.
She came up, gave me a hug, and then she left.
That sucks.
But because they made it a good environment, it was fun. And then things changed, and then COVID came, and I couldn't bring anybody. And then it was different people up there, and I really didn't enjoy it as much. So it was a hard transition for me, given the time it was, and then the people leaving and changing. So that was another thing I had to overcome as well. And one time I got frustrated with one of the nurses, and the next time I went in, I actually took her to the side and apologized to her because it wasn't her fault, and it wasn't. I took my frustrations out on her, and she was doing her best to try to help me. But that's the thing, like, that humbled me. It wasn't her fault. I took it out on her, and I shouldn't have. And in my heart, I knew that I needed to tell her it wasn't her fault, it was me.
Yeah.
And explain her the situation of what was going on, so she would understand, help her understand why I was so stressed about it. So, I mean, there's been ups and downs, goods and bads. It's one of those things where if you meet somebody that's had cancer, it's kind of a good feeling to talk about it with them.
Because they know what you've been through.
Yeah, and like even baseball the other night, World Series, Astros won, but before that, they all stood up in the crowd and like, this is who I'm standing for Cancer Awareness Month, right before it ended, They all had the names, like the whole crowd, everybody's holding signs and stuff, and I was sitting with some buddies, but like in my mind I was kind of like choked up a little bit. I was like, it's incredible how many people are affected by cancer and how little we know about it to be able to treat some of them. Some people aren't as fortunate as I am. I'm very fortunate. So
yeah,
it's, I don't know, it's been an experience that I'll never forget, obviously, and taught me a lot of things and how to deal with things differently, and it's definitely been one of the hardest things to overcome. But like, if you stay strong and you have good mental attitude, which I didn't always have, sometimes you have to dig deep for that, it is a lot easier for your friends and family to be able to support you as well. And fortunate for me, I have a great group of friends and an awesome, great family that helped me get through it. So that was the key to it, was having that support. And some people don't have that support.
Yeah.
But there are places and groups and things like that. There are people out there. So like, people that may not have the support system I have, there are people that do aid and, you know, just in your well-being, and they do care.
I've probably been through it. Or
They've been through it, or they've lost a loved one, or they're a mentor, or they're a counselor, or a therapist, or it just depends. There's a lot of people that come to play.
Like you said, everyone's kind of been affected by cancer in one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, like, whether it was your teacher, your mother, your father, your grandma, your aunt, you know, somebody along the way has, in your life, has probably passed away from cancer or has had it. And, you know, I don't know how much more common it is now, but like, I remember when I was sick, I remember asking my dad, like, when you were a kid, how many people did you know with cancer? And he was just like, I don't know that there was that many compared to like now, you know. And I don't know that to be true. I mean, as the medical field advances, we find out more diagnosis of what people actually have, and maybe they didn't just die of natural causes, or you know, we're educating ourselves as we go too.
It's crazy, like, knock on wood, but like, you're the only person that I know, like, close to me that's had cancer. You know what I mean?
That's
my
great.
mom had scares when I was in high school. Like, my mom had scares and stuff where she had to like go in every couple months to make sure that she didn't. And she still has to go in. I try to bend her arm sometimes. I'm like, when's the last time you were in, Mom? She's like, I don't remember. But it was scary for me because, you know, you're one of my closest friends. So,
well,
and I didn't have anybody else who'd ever had cancer before. So it was like a little bit of a shock.
Well, and even going in, like, women for your mammogram, but I mean, even as simple as, like, doing self-check, it's something that, like, just being aware of it, you know.
You go to the doctor every year?
I haven't been to the doctor in years, since I tore my
Really?
ACL.
You know, my doctors insist on having a primary care physician and doing, checkups.
Blood work, everything every year.
So, I mean, and as we get older, I mean, we're not old by any means, but, like, it's definitely something that it's better to be on the ball and doing now, proactive about it, than, you know, live your life how you wish.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, you know,
Be
the
aware.
longer you wait, if you do have an illness and you don't know, the lower your odds are, you know. And luckily, I mean, like I said, I had noticed I had it for some time before I actually got diagnosed. Is one of those things where I'm fortunate that it wasn't as bad.
I saw a thing that reminded me when you said, like, you talked to people who had cancer, you know? I don't know if I sent it. I thought I sent it to Two Guys One Shed. It was another one of those.
Another serious post.
Another serious
Jesus
one.
Christ.
But the guy's, like, saying how he lost his mom to cancer, I believe. And how he says, like, he's like, it's weird, but, like, I buy, like, if I'm, like, at Starbucks or something, I'll buy, like, an older woman who's, like, my mom's
In
age.
front of her, yeah,
I'll buy
watched
her,
that.
like, I'll buy them, like, coffee or whatever, just because like, you know, it makes me like think of my mom and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he says like the conversation, like he just tells someone that, and he's like super open about it and shit, you know. And then the conversations, the connections he makes with people are crazy. Like it's just, you know, you be vulnerable, you let your vulnerability out, and you know, if it's not always reciprocated, you know, but people feel that, you know, everyone has the human experience is the same, whether it's just 6 billion different versions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's why when my grandma had cancer, she had multiple myeloma, very rare cancer, bone and blood cancer, and I didn't even know it. I didn't know it, but like when my mom was telling me, she got chosen out of like a whole bunch of people, and everything was taken care of because her cancer was so rare that she went to I think it's St. Anthony's or somewhere, or I don't remember what.
She went to.
It's the one right there in. It's like the best cancer place.
St. Jude's?
No.
Don't say it. I can think of it.
It's the best cancer. But she got chosen, and everything was taken care of.
That's crazy.
And then just one day, she was just done fighting. So
yeah,
she fought for 5 years.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
I think it's sometimes.
It's right there off of in Centennial.
Yeah, but it's well known.
Yeah. I don't fault old people. Like, if you get cancer and you're, like, a certain age, like, it just seems... Especially, like, even seeing, like, Doug, how Doug went through it, and Doug's, like, you know, a young man, and seeing, like, an older person have to, like, put themselves through that, that's... Couldn't imagine, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you're that old, like, how much more are you fighting for?
Anschutz.
Anschutz, yep.
Anschutz. Auschwitz?
Anschutz is what
Anschutz
everybody's told me, but yeah, that's like
the best
best cancer treatment in Colorado. But like I had talked to my doctors as well, and that's when I found out like they network with other doctors, and they do, I don't know how or whatever, but they, you know, I was like, you know, is this the best place to get treatment? And that's when one of the doctors had explained, like, there's a lot of process behind the scenes that goes into this, and a lot of other data collected by other doctors, and they all kind of share it in a way to
they're all trying to figure out
everybody's patients. So I did get great treatment. Everything was successful. There were some hardships, ups and downs, you know, people changing, mental, physical, emotional, but I mean, as long as you make it through that, what can't you do? You know, that's kind of how I look at it, is like, there's a lot of mental things, and one of the things I will share that I don't really talk about a lot is that, you know how like when you're a kid and you're afraid to die?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you could be laying in bed one night and just thinking about it and be like, man, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Like, it just like freaks you out.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're put in a position where you have no control and the possibility of the outcome possibly might be death, changes the way you think about things. And that's something that I feel I've only been able to reciprocate from people that have been in a similar situation. Maybe it's just my mental track on it, but yeah, it's just something I've noticed with other people that have been in my shoes, that I've talked to, have kind of the same mentality. Like, that fear is not there. And like we talked about earlier in this podcast, like living for the moment, that's probably the best way to live when you're going through that. You can't plan for the future. Nothing's guaranteed ahead of you. You can't worry about the past because that already happened. Live for the moment. You know, and try to make it, you know, enjoyable as you can. So, I don't know. There's a lot more that comes from it. I mean, people that have cancer have a higher risk of getting it again, whether it's the same kind or other kinds. Not to mention the battles we all face through everyday life, life choices, exposure to things that we don't even know about.
True that.
So, it's inevitable. Just live your path and live your life. That's really all you can do. And like we were saying, live for the now, because that's what matters. I mean, be happy for what you have, And even if you don't have the outcome that I did, and it is negative, and maybe you don't make it, you know, you can still make an impact while you're here, you know?
Yeah.
There was people that I had met that had terminal cancer, and, you know, they're still taking treatments to try to slow it.
Longevity of life.
And, you know, some people take it differently, but, you know, there's an old lady that's like, I don't smoke, but I went home and I smoked a cigarette, you know, and like she's like, you know, she knew she didn't have
very much longer.
Very, you know, nothing. It wasn't, you know, it was terminal. It went from like her breast to her back up and working into her lungs and brain. Like she was terminally ill. And once it affects you, you know, stage 4 cancer, you can't take it back, you know what I mean? So being able to talk to people like that and for them to have that mentality, like, I'm here, you know, I'm here for you ladies, you know, this older lady, she was very spunky, but she was cool, and one day she had sat there and talked to me about my life and, you know, told me how good I was doing and how proud that she is to like meet me and understand, like, you know, the odds of me doing good are good. You know, that's one of the things she was concerned with by asking me was like, you know, how's everything? And, you know, those are some of the deep conversations you have with people.
Strangers, really?
Yeah, and then like there were some people that, there was another lady I met, she had lung cancer in both her lungs. And she was terminally ill. And like, you know, there was other older ladies that had been there for years, like your grandma, Chris, that had been fighting it for years and years and years. And like one day nobody talks about it, but like you don't see her there. Yeah. And a lot of the treatments, you're like, everybody's on the same rotation, you know what I mean? Like
you see the same people.
Yeah.
Someone just stopped showing.
And then like there was this Hispanic lady, she didn't know any English. She was an older lady going through chemo and her hair was falling out and she was crying. And I remember they had a bunch of wigs that they were like getting out and like gonna give her one, and she was just having a hard time, you know. And the lady was walking by and I snagged one of the wigs and she put it on and she was crying, and I put on a wig with her, and she just started laughing and like, you know, I couldn't talk to her because I didn't know Spanish. And I was able to bring a smile to her face and like give her some relief, like it was gonna be okay. So there was some rewarding things even out of that oncology room that came out of there. But yeah, just being able to crack a smile on somebody's face that's having a rougher time than you is a good feeling.
Yeah. For sure. I think one of the things we miss the most is like, especially like COVID and shit, like during COVID, is just being around other people, you know what I mean? Like just that camaraderie of being able to make people like laugh, or, you know what I mean? That's just, like people need that.
People need people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We all need each other.
It's just better if like people take care of one another.
Yeah.
And I feel like our generation is the start, maybe not the start, but is better than past generations of, you know, being conscientious of
other people,
of being better for everybody.
Millennials are team workers. We like being together. Regardless of what we're doing, we just want to do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, that's something that will be passed down from us to the next generation, you know.
Dude, it's crazy seeing my kid at school and being like, I was talking to another parent and I'm like, I don't ever remember hugging this much when I was a kid. Like my kid hugs everybody, like and they're all hugging, like they see each other, they just run up and hug, or they tickle each other under the chin, or they tickle each other in the chin. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, I don't remember any of that shit. But it's good though, you know? It's good, like you said, people need people.
And like, it puts you in a position to where like, it's a good feeling to take care of people too. Even if it's just something small. Even if it's just your family, your child, your spouse.
I'm sure you see your own vulnerability, and I'm sure you can recognize that in others.
You know,
a lot easier.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can tell how people feel. So, I don't know. It's just important to try to give back, even if you don't have money to give or resources or anything like that. Just being a good person and contributing, or recognizing when somebody's having a hard time.
I think it's crazy how just the smallest things can help someone's day. You know what I mean? Like you're at the store and you make a comment to someone who you really you didn't feel like you should say anything, and you say it, and then it makes them so happy.
I had a weird experience the other day. I was coming out of the gas station, and I don't know why it was weird. I noticed it was weird after. I held the door for a guy. I always like to hold the door for people, especially if they're right there, whether it's a man, woman, whatever. It's a respectful thing to do. And this guy, I'm leaving, and he's rushing in to get stuff before work or whatever. He's like, "Hey man, thanks," and I was like, "Yeah man, have a good day," and I just walked away. And I was like, I don't know if I've ever told a stranger have a good day, but he was like, "Thanks man," and then just walked away. I was just I caught myself off guard. Not that I'm mean, but it was odd.
One thing that I did that always stands out in my mind because the reaction of the other person. So we were coming out of, me and Kelly were coming out of PetSmart, and there was a homeless dude with a big old, it's the PetSmart off of Alameda in Colorado, so it's pretty busy over there. And he's right outside the PetSmart, and he has his homeless his shopping cart. Yeah. I don't know if it was Target or what local place it was, but it was a shopping cart. And he goes off the curb, and as I'm walking out, he's struggling, he's trying to keep it up. Yeah. And all his shit's falling out, and I just run over and I help him pick up his shopping cart. Yeah. And some lady's walking in, she's like, "Oh my god, that is the nicest thing I've seen." And I was like, "Were you just gonna let it fall?"
Yeah, jeez.
Were you gonna let his shit fall, bitch? You were rude. You can fucking get inside, you fucking asshole.
Well, that's the thing.
I was like, how crazy is that you'd see someone, regardless of what they look like.
Yeah, exactly.
That they're if I'm walking by someone and I not even bump into them, but their shit falls, I just bend over and pick up a pen or whatever it is. I don't care what they look like. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And even if they're homeless, if all his shit fell, he's gonna be outside cleaning up all his shit. He'll probably get kicked out. They'll call the cops on him and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He probably has more to lose than somebody else. I just think that always stands out to me. I always think what were you thinking? What was going through your head on that situation?
And that's the kind of thing I don't understand. I don't know. Sometimes people who record themselves trying to be nice and give people what are you doing this for? Yeah, if you're really doing it to be a good person, then you shouldn't have to.
I don't like to brag or anything like that.
Oh, here we go. Hey, Calvin's doing it. He's doing it right now.
I'll do 2 in a row. 2 stories of me being a good person. But I don't know. Was I with you? I can't remember who I was with. But I walk out of the bar, and there's this homeless guy, and he's telling me he's native or some shit, and something happens, and he wants to give me he asked for money. He asked if I have a couple bucks, and I give him all the fucking ones I have in my pocket. I have a stack of ones, and I give him all the ones. And he's like, "Thank you so much." He gives me a hug and stuff. He's stoked. Mm-hmm. I probably had close to 50 ones. And I gave him.
Where were you?
I gave him all exactly.
Strip club?
Exactly. I give him all my ones. And I can't remember who I was with. Then. I can't remember who I was with. He was I don't know. He was like, "Thank you. I'm so happy. I'm so happy." He was thinking I was the nicest person for giving him all those ones. Yeah. And then whoever I was with was like, "What the fuck, dude? Why would you give him all that fucking money? He's just gonna fucking spend it on drugs and shit." And he's like, he was thinking I'm stupid for giving the homeless man that much money. Yeah. It's I'm not stupid, and I'm not the good-ass person the homeless dude is. I just know I can't show up with that many fucking ones at home. Regardless if I was cheap, regardless if I was at a strip club, or regardless if I was doing good shit all night. It was a fucking...
Calvin's gonna wash his car 4 times if he didn't find it.
Whether I was at Boondocks or I'm at the strip club, I can't show up with that many ones or I'm gonna get in trouble. You know what I mean? I just know... I know me, and I know my relationship. I wasn't trying to help nobody. He helped me.
He helped me. You're like, "No, thank you."
I was like, "Thank you, thank you."
So you got change?
I was like, "Give me 5 back, dog. I need some for some pizza."
Got $5.
He's all got you.
He's like, "I got you."
The hot and ready or what?
Oh snap!
I don't know. I try to give some people things. I won't say that every person I see I give things to.
Yeah.
Whether it's money. One time in college, there's this homeless guy under the overpass. We were headed back to the mountains. It was like on I-70. We stopped at a gas station, and we had like a bag of hot Cheetos and 2, I don't know if it was like Sprite or Brisks. Then we had like a little nug of weed. And we just roll up on this guy who's like, you know, with his dog and shit. And we're like, hey man, we're college kids, we're broke as fuck, we ain't got no money. But we're like, here's a bag of Cheetos, a couple drinks, and you smoke weed? And his eyes just lit up. He's like, yeah. And we gave him like a nug of weed and just gave it to him, and he was like fucking in heaven, you know. Yeah, you never know, and that's the thing. Like sometimes even that little gesture that's given to you, definitely makes your day better too. You know.
That made me think of when we were in Vegas, and me and Chris were walking around after the pool party. And I gave the fucking a homeless guy my pre-roll. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I had a pre-roll in my pocket, and it was like bugging me because I was like thinking about smoking it. And I was just like, and I was on mushrooms. And I was just like, the mushrooms just like give it to him. I saw a homeless guy, and I was like, hey man, you want pre-rolled? And he was like, yeah. And I just fucking gave it to him. He was like, thank you. Never giving weed. Even I get weed. I'm so happy. Like free weed is like the best thing. You know what I mean?
Free weed's the best weed.
Free weed's the best weed. But we were walking too. Remember we were walking out, and there was like 2 people trying to take a picture.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You look beautiful." And Chris was like, "That's a dude." And I was like, I didn't realize it. I was like, I don't give a fuck. You know, I was just trying to make her feel good. You know what I mean? Regardless, I wasn't trying to fuck her. I was just trying to be like, "Hey, like you look beautiful." She's all, "Oh shit." She's like, "You want some of this?"
We got there for your bachelor party.
Yeah.
We're in line trying to check in, get all that figured out. Me and Chris are standing there. And I don't know what classification, what gender, what anything, but this person was born a man, had a beard, like a goatee, and then was wearing high heels, like leather tight pants, and like a crop top, and had a set of tits.
Oh shit, you look like Prince?
I don't know.
You look like Prince.
No, he was like, and he had long, like, dude hair.
Oh,
he was that blonde.
Yeah.
And we're like sitting there, and he's like, "Do you know where I could get a cab?" Like in high heels too, so kind of like dressed like a girl, but looks like a dude with tits. Yeah. So I was confused a little, which is okay. Whatever, do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, comes up to me, asks me, "Do you know where I find a cab?" And I looked at it, that person, and said, "I honestly don't know. I just got here. Like, I wish I could help you, but I've never been here before. I don't know where you get a cab." And like, he kind of just like walked away. And me and Chris were like, "You should have said, 'Hey dude, nice tits.'"
Hey bro, nice tits.
Hey bro, nice tits. But I was like,
you had a set?
Yeah, like he did, dude. I was just like,
Were you looking at him?
Well, yeah.
Boobs are boobs.
Are you gonna look at a dude's tits or not? You know.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Fucking titties will never be gay.
Yeah. We should make a shirt that says that.
Fucking titties will never be gay.
I'm working on a joke. It's like, something about me. I've done a lot of gay shit, but fuck, I can't fucking think of how I said it. I thought about it earlier.
That's a wrap.
I've done a lot of gay shit, but never with dudes. Something like that.
Have you seen that one where that guy's like, I don't know what it is, but just hanging out with all these dudes, you know what I mean? I'm just so comfortable, you know what I mean? I'm just hanging out, hitting each other in the balls and stuff. And then some gay guy, like, duetted it. He's obviously, you know, when a whole bunch of gays get together, they're a bunch of straight dudes. They're just fucking just talking shit, everything, like, hit each other in the balls and shit. Because, like, when dudes are dudes, you know what I mean? Dudes are going to be dudes.
Have you seen the video of all the dudes, like, in, like, a little swamp? They're, like, doing flips into the fucking, like, marsh water shit? It's just, like, a bunch of dudes. Like, dudes will just, like, have fun doing anything.
Yeah.
They're all doing, like, flips and, like, falling into the fucking grassy water and shit. It's cool. It's like a sponge. So just flipping onto it and shit. It's cool.
I think Andrew Tate did a podcast about that.
Oh, yeah, like bros.
Bros just have bro. Like,
bros, like...
He's like, we could be in fucking Moldova with $25 and we'll still have the best fucking time.
It's true, though. Like, if you think about it, like, we've had more money than other times, and we've had way less money at other times, but we've always had Good times.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, every time we go downtown, like Calvin, you got me this week. Calvin, like, you got me this week because I got you.
So, there's some rough times.
By the way, Calvin, you owe me.
I know I'm making up in production value, bitch.
Touche.
The hours I spend, I tracked it up. 2 adioses.
2
adioses. That's how I track them.
Remember when that one friend that's really bald and skinny that we all have?
Yeah.
He would try to use his health savings
He
card
would
at the
use
bar.
it. He would.
HSA card at the bar. You'd swipe it and get around.
I remember him trying it once and be like, I'm going to try my HSA card. He's like, it doesn't always work. He comes back. He's all, Cal, it worked. Let's get another one. Get another round of shots. So we'll go buy bitch some drinks.
Oh my god.
HSA, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, mental health's health too, you know?
Dude, I remember that shit. We all be broke as fuck, and he's just at the bar with this fucking HSA card, fucking buying rounds.
Oh. Sometimes it doesn't work.
It just depends what bar it was. They'd accept someone, accept it.
Imagine that. Come on, just swipe. Just work.
I just don't know how you buy a girl a drink on a whim, like on a
whim. On a whim.
On a crossing your fingers, like, I hope it works. Fuck, I don't even like buying girls.
Oh, wow.
Chris knows.
Like, Chris.
No, me and Calvin just buy each other drinks.
Yeah. Well, last time we went to the bar, that girl asked me, she's like, will you buy me a drink? And I'm like, I just got a shot. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. I just got a shot.
I just bought a round?
Yeah, I just bought us a shot, so if you want to buy your own, feel free.
Oh, my God. Well, yeah. Glad you're here, Dougie.
Me too. What time is it? 8:30?
Yeah, seriously, it's like 9:30?
No, it's like 10:30.
It's 9:30. It's 9:43.
I watched this. It's 10:43.
This is like, me later. I'm going to have to wrap it up.
No, you're not.
What do you mean wrap it up?
Like me with my lady later, you know?
You don't wrap
It's time to
nothing,
wrap it
Calvin.
up.
I don't know what that's like.
She makes me.
She makes you.
She gives me the clinch. I'm about to drop my load. She's like, no, you're not.
Kung Fu grip.
Pull it out.
You're stupid.
So release.
In the paper towel. Throw it away.
He's all onto my face. It wouldn't even last that long. My dick would explode. A grenade. Pooh!
Oh, my God.
It would implode.
It'd actually be your balls.
What if it came out your butt?
I just thought of when we were in Vegas and Jimmy just kept telling me how annoying my laugh was at the pool party. I was like, I'm not laughing any different, I don't think. He's all, it's so obnoxious. I was like, I always laugh like this. This is who I am.
I don't remember. I got kicked out.
It's true. I sit there all night.
Remember I called him an NPC?
Who?
I called him an NPC.
I don't know.
Some people... mushrooms, I think you realize that some people are NPCs, you know? For real.
And if you don't know...
I have like 4 lines to give you. It's like just a different version. Oh, one of those things I was gonna watch was like the double slit experiment, where it's like quantum physics, basically, like whether depending on if you observe it, it's a wave or it's a particle. And it is saying kind of like how video games work, like if you haven't gone into the building yet, it loads the building, but it doesn't load everything inside of it.
Yeah.
So once you walk in, they become particles, right? In a way, because in a way it's just a wave. It's not anything yet, and then once you go inside, it becomes a particle. You observing it inside the game is what gives it structure, which is how quantum physics works in reality as far as waves and particles. Like it isn't a particle until you observe it. So it's kind of like
fucking crazy.
So you're saying like the stuff behind us is nothing?
No, like something that you haven't seen before.
What do you mean? Like I'm in Call of Duty. I'm walking into a building. I walk into room 1. Well,
It's not loaded yet.
there
It's not loaded.
until I get there.
Yeah. So like old school, like PS2, it's never even been. It's not anything yet. You have to walk into it. That's why it has to load before you walk into the game. You know what I mean? Like it like takes a second, like loading, and then you walk in, and then it's there. Whereas now it moves so much faster. It's not loaded yet, but as soon as you walk in, it's partially loaded. So as soon as you walk in, you get everything that is in the game.
The features. That
Yeah. So that's like kind of how.
So
It's like in San Andreas, the great parts of the map, you know, the shadowy places. You don't know what those are yet. You haven't unlocked those features. It's kind of like that, like you.
So it's the Matrix.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I think it infers more towards like your future. Like it's not. You kind of create, you know. But we're all creators in a way, so we're all creating this existence.
That shit loud. God damn, Calvin.
I'm not even emotional.
No, dude.
Yeah, you told me that.
This is just.
This
is just all the time.
My brain would
This is
explode.
just all the time.
This is all the time. Kelly's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I know Kelly doesn't give a fuck because I'll tell her something. She's like, "Yeah." Just say yeah.
She was just like, hey.
She's like, "You're going a little bit too far out there." She's like, "Okay, Kanye."
Oh my god.
Sheesh. Oh, Kanye.
I think Kanye is just like a newly divorced dad who just got a Facebook. Like he's trying to get his thoughts together. You know what I mean? You got to give him a few weeks. He's just posting everything he sees. He's sharing everything, you know?
Sharing everything, shitty pictures, you know what I mean?
Poking you. Like you just got to give him a few minutes.
Poking you.
He doesn't know how to act.
Yeah, he has a bigger platform.
I think I've only poked one person on
Really?
Facebook, yeah.
I used to be I used to get into poke wars with people. 76 State, just fucking.
Oh my god.
You poke me, I poke you back. It was the early 2010s when we didn't have TikTok yet.
Can you still poke?
Yeah, no.
No, I don't think you can.
On TikTok, you wave.
Oh, you waved?
You can
Like
wave
Big Al
it.
waved to us?
Yeah.
I read recently that Twitter owns Vine.
Yeah.
And they're trying to bring it back.
Well,
Elon's trying to bring it back.
There's a theory that Elon's trying to make a freedom of speech short video, but by having the rights of Vine and Twitter being able to do something to compete with TikTok that like you can't get banned from.
Yeah, like how we got banned.
Which is kind of fucked up. That Elon's like, no, Twitter's fucking not worth any money. Give it to me like at a discount rate, right? He gets it cheaper, and then he's like, oh, also we have Vine that we're bringing back. So he gets 2 fucking platforms for one, motherfucker.
He's not dumb.
That seems smart, you know what I mean?
He's not dumb.
It's because they said the Vine code's from like 2016 or some shit.
Uh-huh.
So they have to like revamp it. It'll take some time, but you know Elon, he'll
But
be like,
could you imagine
next
being
year it
able
needs
to
to be done.
like go through your TikTok with no, like all the shadow bans are gone, all the restrictions, like people being able to actually.
You know, me and Calvin got banned for life on fucking TikTok Live.
I just want Elon to give Trump a TikTok back or a Twitter back, just to see everyone lose their fucking minds. Like everyone's gonna lose their minds.
People have meltdowns.
Like Trump, like diehard Trump, people are gonna be so stoked. You know what I mean? And the other people are gonna be melting down, and the comment stream is gonna be fucking wild.
Yeah. Trump's first tweet's gonna be, "I'm back, bitches."
I don't know. Probably calls World War 3.
He should put, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Surprise, motherfucker.
My favorite quote of this year so far is Geno Smith in the game was like,
they wrote me off. I didn't write back.
But I didn't write back. I love that shit. That shit's so fucking fire.
Geno, he's looking good.
Imagine how many Jets quarterbacks could have been decent quarterbacks in the league that the Jets just fucking ruined over the past 10, 15 years.
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez had a decent career. I mean, some of those other guys that they just fucking drafted in. Wilson looks legit.
Yeah, Wilson looks legit.
What's his name? That was it. Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Darnold's had.
He looked good too.
Darnold's had like 6 different offensive coordinators in 6 years or some shit.
Now he's with the Panthers and he got hurt. And then Baker Mayfield's over here playing defense at practice.
Really?
Did you see that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, he's playing defense. He's playing as a defensive player at practice.
Because PJ's the truth, man.
PJ Walker. From the CFL.
XFL.
No,
he played CFL too?
Yeah.
He was the XFL MVP or some shit though.
Last year? No, because XFL hasn't been around for years.
I know, it was like 2 years ago.
CFL.
Though. He was XFL.
CFL.
Check it.
I'll put money on it.
In comments.
I'll put $1,000 on it right now. It's CFL.
He might have played in the
CFL.
CFL.
No, the USFL.
He played in the fucking XFL.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he will. He did. I'll fucking bet money on that. Yeah.
Okay, Google. Did PJ Walker play in the XFL?
I'm sure he did.
Here's information from Wikipedia.
He has a Wikipedia? He definitely played in the XFL if he has a fucking Wikipedia.
He did. 2020.
Yeah, give me my 1,000.
Leading the league in passing yards and touchdowns before suspended operations due to COVID-19.
He's doing it.
Pay the man.
I'll take it in ones.
Are you a homeless guy?
Yeah. Yeah, right. I can't make it home with those. You know that. Shit, if I had $1,000 in ones,
you have to fire Wayne to spend it before he gets home.
We ain't going home tonight, boys.
Vegas.
We're gonna go make it to we'll go to the upper class. We'll be at shotguns all night.
Smoking a cigar.
We'll be in a cigar room.
The NFL's fucking union too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the NBA. I don't know if the MLB is. I'm assuming probably.
NHL.
Yeah, they all have like players unions and shit, but
NHL is. Remember when they went on strike?
Because the player unions the ones that handle all like the contract disputes and all that bullshit too.
Try to make it fair between the players and the owners.
And that's why they have to go through like draft things too, because how many new players are coming in affects all the old veterans and shit like that.
Is OBJ going to the Cowboys or to the Bills?
I think Cowboys.
He must be on a winning team. He's got to go to the Bills for his chance for a ring.
He'll go win a ring.
Oh, he got a ring. He got a ring with the Rams.
Him and Vaughn.
Him and Vaughn?
From the Rams to the Bills.
The Bills lost today to the Jets.
I know.
He should go to the Jets.
The Jets look good, dude.
They had one good game.
No, they look good all
6
year.
and
3. they look good.
Just because they beat the Broncos.
No, they look good before then.
They have a good defense, and with Wilson, he's
Sauce
not
Gardner?
Wilson isn't as bad as Wilson's gritty as fire too.
South?
Wilson, the Milf Slayer?
What about Mixon today, boys?
Oh my goodness!
4 before the half.
That was crazy. I saw T. Higgins. I'm like, what the fuck? T. Higgins ain't getting the fucking ball. I'm like, Mixon has 50 fucking points. What's going on here?
55.1.
He's like one of 5 players in modern history that's had 200 yards and 5 TDs or some shit like that. Wild.
The game of his life today. Crazy, huh?
I know. I was going through the scores. I see Ruger has 50 for Mixon. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, in our other league, I have him in our other league.
Oh, do you? Was it the same?
55.1. He had a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown.
He had a passing touchdown?
Or like a
a receiving touchdown. I was like, what? He's
only
Christian McCaffrey?
Only McCaffrey. Dude, McCaffrey blew up. Fucking San Fran is...
Well, he has a way better team, you know what I mean? More weapons. He's not the only weapon anymore.
But the thing is I think...
Joe Mixon, 50 fucking points in the standard league. Oh my god.
How many yards?
153 yards, 5 touchdowns.
I think he had 200 yards. Maybe it was 200 total.
Yeah, because it was just 100, probably 150.
Yeah. Probably 200 total.
Here, hold on, let's see real quick. So he had 153 rushing yards and 58 receiving yards.
That's wild.
4 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown.
Dude, our league's so crazy. It's like 6 wins, 5 wins, 4 wins, 3 wins. I think like 2 people with 2 wins.
Noah's going to be... We're all going to be tied for first again.
I lost.
I'm going to be tied with fucking Mario, Noe, Tyler. Or Tyler lost. Yes, Tyler lost.
Nice.
So
dude,
right
every
now,
week is predicted like 110. I'm like, what the fuck?
So Mario's in first. I'm in first. Tyler's in third. Tied for third. Noah's tied for third. Doug's tied for third.
I'm tied for third.
So it's going to be...
I'm tied for third. I'm in there 2 now,
Oh,
bitch.
you're gonna be tied for first then.
I'm tied with Doug. I was a game behind Doug. I'll be 5 and 4.
So me, Noe, and Mario are gonna be tied for first again.
The stakes are high.
And then me, Doug, and...
Oh no, Mario's gonna be... No, because Mario lost too.
So me, Doug, and Tyler will be for the next spot. Tyler.
Yeah.
And Mario was like, oh, I got that #1 spot now. I was like, it's okay. I've been #1 before, but I've never won as the #1 seed.
Yeah, you never win.
I've won as the #4 seed and I don't remember the one before that.
Tyler's team that first week he put up 144 points. I was a little worried about Tyler's team, dude.
He dropped 110 on me last week.
Oh my god.
I was only projected 79. The whole week, I was projected 79. I was like, and I scored 79. Tyler was projected 109, he scored 109. It was like exactly 30 points. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to beat this guy. Fucking bullshit. Oh, I had so many buys this week, too. My team was
You
bare.
over here tied with Isaiah, the fucking, the defense kings.
Isaiah?
Hey, they're doing better than half our league.
Yeah, Ruger's in last place. Darian's in last place, too.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, jeez, boys, get it together.
I know you get one bad pick in the beginning. You're fucked. Darian got Cam Akers in the second, I think.
Oh, that was the worst pick.
Yeah, fucked him over.
But that's the thing is, like, we're all close. There's enough games left to where a lot of things could happen, so nothing's permanent.
It's still going to be close, so.
Well, there's going to be a lot of movement, for sure.
But
Mario's on a 6-game winning streak. He just lost this week.
he barely beat me, though.
So he started 0-3.
Mario has the least points scored against him, 518.
That's what happened to me when I was number 1, remember? That's what I'm telling him. Like, the stats don't lie.
It's all about who you play. All right. That's enough of that. Thank you, Doug, for coming on and giving us a fucking...
We've had some laughs. We were serious.
A lot of seriousness in this one.
I liked it. though. It was a lot more. Usually it's us. Usually I'm throwing up by now.
Usually when Doug's on the podcast, we are shipping.
Yeah.
Sober life, sober wife.
Episode 29 in the books.
I didn't even chip this. I forgot it the whole time. It's been tilted.